The 8th episode?
I believe so. I believe it's the 8th.
Of the Real Duo podcast, a.k.a. the Keanu Cast, a.k.a. the most mediocre podcast on the internet, a.k.a. the only mediocre podcast on the internet, a.k.a. the Real Foodie podcast, a.k.a. the Decapitation Show. I'm one of your hosts, Wade.
Did you really add the Decapitation Show to
our AKA? We did that in the last episode, yeah.
But I didn't know you were going to keep it.
I'm going to keep all this shit that we do. Whenever we come up with a new name, I'm going to keep it.
I told you that's not kid-friendly. I
don't get decapitation. It's fine.
People don't just decapitate
We're not
people
a kid-friendly
anymore.
show.
I'm your other host, Devin. Sorry.
What have you been watching this week, Devin?
I haven't watched anything this week. I was actually really busy this week.
Really?
No, wait. I rewatched Mulan, the original Mulan, because the new one's coming out.
Does it still hold up?
Yeah, freaking Eddie Murphy, man. He's still awesome.
Do the songs still hold up?
They're okay. They're not as good as some of the other Disney classics, but they're okay.
Because it's on Netflix, I've been tempted to watch it.
I know, that's where I saw it, and I was like, "Ooh, I'll just watch it. Why not?"
Before the remake comes out and ruins everything.
Well, the remake's not going to be anything like the original.
Yeah, apparently not. Apparently, it's going to be completely different.
Because there's no Mushu, no songs.
That little bug guy isn't going to be in it either. That little whatever that bug name is, he's not.
Yeah, it's going to be just a movie about Asia.
About Asia, I guess. It's not going to be about Asia.
It's going to be about a woman who wants to be a woman in Asia.
No, she wants to be a man.
No, she's a man because
transgender Disney movie.
No, she's a man because she is looked down upon as a woman.
Yeah, because women are stupid.
You can't say that on the internet.
I can say whatever I want, and I'm gonna.
What have you been watching this week?
I watched quite a few things. I watched Tron, the original Tron.
Oh.
I watched Pan's Labyrinth, and what the fuck else did I watch? I rewatched Force Awakens because we're going to talk about Star Wars today.
And we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
How was Tron?
Tron was fine. It's obviously it's like an 80s movie, so it's very dated in some spots, like the costumes and shit look like silly like paper mache like costumes and shit. But it actually kind of like story-wise still kind of holds up a little bit, and it's got some clever writing in it, and the style to it is really unique, and if it's just kind of like a really weird sci-fi film, and I like really weird sci-fi stuff.
I've always said I think Disney should make another Tron movie because they own Tron.
To make a third Tron for like a decade.
I know they should.
For some reason, nothing's happened. I don't know why.
I don't think anybody cares about Tron anymore.
Yeah, nobody really cares about Tron. I like Tron Legacy though. Tron Legacy was fine.
It wasn't bad with Jeff Bridges or whatever.
Jeff Bridges was in both of them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They
de-aged him in.
Yeah, that was like one of the first real uses of de-aging, and it looked fucking awful.
So today we got a little bit of news, and then we're gonna do a review, and then we're gonna do a ranking, right?
Yes.
All right.
And if it gets too long, I'll cut one of these fucking things out and just save it
for another time. All right, let's start with the news. What do you got? What you got for me?
There was a trailer for The Lighthouse starring Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe.
I did not see this.
I've been looking forward to this movie for a while. It was really weird and spooky. It was made by it's directed by the guy who directed The Vavitch, which is a film that I loved, and I own it on Blu-ray. And that movie was also really spooky. So I'm looking forward to this.
Is this a horror movie? Is this what it is?
It looks like it's gonna be kind of a horror movie. It's very like artsy fartsy. It's like black and white, and it looks like it's got like tons of film grain and stuff on it. It looks like it's supposed to be like an homage to like old school like horror movies and stuff, which is cool. And Willem Dafoe's kind of cheesing it up, which is fun.
Willem Dafoe is always amazing.
He's great. He's so great and everything.
I love him. Ever since I saw him as Green Goblin in Spider-Man, I've loved him and everything.
Yeah, he's a really great villain. That suit is dumb though in those Spider-Man movies.
For sure. Are you gonna watch this mainly because your boy RP is gonna be Batman? Is that the main reason?
Well, no, I mean I would have watched it anyway because it looks really good. But Robert Pattinson's a good ass actor. He can act.
I haven't seen him in anything besides Twilight, and that
watch Good Time. It's like 90 minutes, and it's just like a really solid like crime movie with him in it, and he's fucking fantastic in it.
I'll add it to my long list of things I need to watch
because he's great in
it. I got some Baby Driver 2 news.
Oh shit!
Script entitled confirmed by Ansel Elgort. Is that the director?
No, that's Baby Driver.
That's him.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's just going to be called Baby Driver 2.
I mean, that's smart. That makes sense.
Where's Kevin's
movie going to be though?
I don't know. I was going to say Kevin Spacey's dead.
Yeah.
Was John Hamm dead?
John Hamm blew up in that police car. Remember, it fell off the thing and it like blew up.
John Barthol's still alive. He could be in a second.
As far as we know, he's still alive. Jamie Foxx died too. Fuck, he was so good in that movie.
Did he die? Oh yeah, that's right.
He got the spike.
Yeah.
Spoilers for people who haven't seen Baby Driver.
That movie's been out for 2 years. If you haven't seen it by now,
yeah, you should probably see it.
I didn't want the sequel.
I don't think it needs a sequel. I don't want this to be a franchise.
But Sony, they gotta milk everything they got.
Sony sucks. I hate Sony so much.
They make one good movie every like 5 years.
Yeah, they do. And then they have to be like, fuck, we need to make this a cinematic universe because we have nothing else.
Baby Driver cinematic universe. They're combine it with Fast and Furious.
I mean, I'd be kind of okay with that.
Would you?
I don't think that's Sony though.
It's not, but I'm sure they could.
I want to see The Rock punch Ansel Elgort in the face.
Why? The Rock would kill him.
Fun. It's not in the Fast and Furious verse.
Nobody dies in the Fast and Furious.
No, you die and then you come back like 5 movies later.
I also got. Did you hear about Andy Serkis receiving the highest IBC honor? I don't know what IBC is, but it's for his mocap stuff. He's actually getting awarded for his mocap.
Good. He deserves awards. He deserves an Oscar for playing Caesar. He was great.
He's great as Caesar. He's great as Snoke, even though he didn't live very long as Snoke. But
he's great in everything he does.
Lord of the Rings and Schmeagol. And I mean, he does good in Black Panther, even though he's not mocap.
Yeah, he was really good in The Prestige. He has a very small part in The Prestige, but he was really good in it as well.
I think he deserves some sort of award for it. He should, like you said, he should get an Oscar. But you know how stupid those old farts are, and they don't give him.
Like, oh, it's not acting, and I'm like, no, it's makeup. It's digital makeup. He's acting.
Yeah, it's not like he's just sitting there, just like. No,
if you see a lot of the behind the scenes of like Rise of the Planet of the Apes, he's like fucking. He's acting.
I know, and he probably does more than most of the actors because he's like sitting like a chimpanzee and stuff like that.
Yeah, the man can mimic chimps perfectly.
He can. I've seen him do it, and he does it perfectly. It's insane. I don't know how he does it.
Give this man an Oscar.
What else you got? I got one more thing, but I'm going to save it.
There was a trailer for The Irishman, which is the new Martin Scorsese movie that's going to be on Netflix.
I feel like I've heard of this. What's this about?
It's kind of a throwback to like Goodfellas, which is another Martin Scorsese movie. It's got Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci in it, and the trailer. I watched the trailer at like 5 a.m, so I was kind of tired. So I don't really remember like what exactly the trailer was about, but it just looks like crime stuff, like mobster, mafia type stuff, which is cool because that's what Martin Scorsese is really good at. I did notice though in the trailer that there was some like digital de-aging on like Robert De Niro's face, and I was like, this looks strange. Why are we doing this?
Why would you de-age Robert De Niro?
Because he's really old.
Yeah, but just make him old. Make him an old gangster.
I mean, yeah, but that's the world we live in now. Everybody's got to be de-aged all the time.
If you have the technology, does not mean you have to use it.
Yeah, but hopefully it looks better when the actual movie comes out because it looked a little odd in the trailer. But I trust Martin Scorsese; he'll make a really good movie.
I've seen Goodfellas, right? I think so.
Have you? I don't know if you've seen Goodfellas.
I think I have.
Seen Goodfellas?
Who's in Goodfellas?
Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci.
Maybe I haven't.
You should watch Goodfellas.
Again, I'll add it to my long list of movies I need to watch.
If you watch these movies, the list will get shorter.
I know. So I'm rewatching Mulan.
Yeah, stop fucking rewatching old Disney movies, Devin.
It's nostalgia.
You rewatched 3 Lilo and Stitch films in a day.
I did.
Watch fucking Goodfellas.
Well, I did it. I didn't do it like, and I paid attention that much. I did it, and I did other stuff while it was on. But I listened to it while it was on.
Still, watch Goodfellas.
Nah, I'll
You're
die.
on a movie podcast. That's kind of required viewing.
Nah, it's you. That's all you. That's what you do. I'm here to just.
I watch all the artsy fartsy stuff. You watch fucking Lilo
Disney.
and Stitch.
Yeah. I just tell you you're stupid every once in a while. That's it. That's the whole podcast.
Yeah, you're just like, where's your fucking idiot for liking Batman vs Superman? I'm like, go fuck yourself. I like all movies.
Because I give you logic about why it's bad, and then you're like, no,
and
that's
I
not
give
bad.
you logic on why it's good, and you're just like, boo, whatever.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's not bad.
We've already just talked about this.
The Purge 5 gains a director. I don't know who the director is, but this was news. Purge 5 is a thing.
Why? The last one wasn't in. Was the last one good? What was the last one?
I haven't seen any of these fucking movies.
I
I've
think
seen the first one.
I think the last one they made was a prequel.
It was called The First Purge.
Yeah.
Which is strange. And Marissa Tomei was in it for some reason.
Yeah. I don't think any of these movies have been good since the first one.
The first one wasn't good. I didn't like the first one.
Well, comparatively, none of them have been as good as the first one.
I guess. I haven't seen the other ones.
Well, I haven't seen...
Like, why are we making 5 of these fucking movies?
I haven't seen the first Purge, so I couldn't... I mean, not the first...
It's like a shitty home invasion movie.
I haven't seen the newest Purge.
Like, the idea of the Purge is really, like, interesting and could actually work, but they just... Like, the first movie was like, hey, let's take this really cool, interesting world, and let's just set it in a house and just have it be a home invasion film. I'm like, you didn't need the backdrop of the Purge in order to do that. I've heard the second one's a little bit better, but I just don't care.
Yeah, like, they could have... This could have been really cool, like you said, if it was like a neighborhood or like a city or something. That would have been kind of dope.
Yeah, which I think the sequels do more of that.
I think one of them do. It does like a neighborhood type thing.
Yeah, but we need 5 of these goddamn movies. Like, seriously.
One's election day. One's with the president. I think. Hers election day. Yeah, like the president is on lockdown or whatever. You'd think the president would have the highest security, but
is it Obama? Is Obama in it?
No, I think it's a woman.
Oh, of course.
Because it was like 2016 and Hillary Clinton. You know?
I mean, it is fictional, so that makes sense.
That will probably happen one day, though.
Not in our lifetime.
It will.
Re-elect Obama.
What? You can't re-elect.
He's so
Obama.
cool. I don't care if he's a bad president. He's so cool.
Trump's getting re-elected.
I hope not.
He is. He don't have any competition.
Welcome back to the Real Politics Cast.
Add that to one of our AKs.
2 people who don't know anything about politics talk about politics.
Yeah. I know there was a shooting the other day. That's all I know.
Was there? For real?
Yeah, there was 2 shootings. There's one in Texas and one in Ohio.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah. All within like hours of each other.
Oh my God. Yeah. Back to movies. Next. Apparently there's a Nosferatu remake coming out with Doug Jones, who I love.
I don't even know what that is. I've never
Nosferatu. You've seen Nosferatu. You've seen that like creepy image of like him in the shadows. He's like one of the first vampire films. The original was like a silent film.
Oh, okay.
There was an episode of SpongeBob where they showed Nosferatu.
Yeah.
The original, I've seen the silent film, and there's a lot of spooky shots of Nosferatu. Nosferatu looks fucking horrifying. And this movie apparently is just going to be like a literal shot-for-shot remake, but it's adding sound. Like, it's not going to be a silent film, and they're kind of updating the look of it. They're going to have the real. They're going to use like green screen and CG to put the actual backgrounds from the original film into this new film. It's just kind of updating it for modern audiences and stuff. And fucking Doug Jones is Nosferatu, which is cool. I love Doug Jones.
Ah, shit. He's in The Shape of Water.
Hell yeah. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he has.
He's been.
See, this is when a remake works.
I mean, it's not really a remake. It's just kind of like an update.
You just said they were doing a shot-for-shot remake.
I mean, I guess, but it's like it's the same fucking film. Like the dialogue's all the same. Like everything about it's the same. It's just,
and it's
not going to be a silent film. It's going to be so. I guess.
All right. I can see it. Is this going to be a theatrical thing, or is it going to be?
No, I don't think. I think this is going to be like a
or a disc.
Could be a Netflix thing or a straight to DVD thing. I don't think this will be in theaters.
I was gonna say I haven't heard about anything about this. So.
It could be. It'd be really cool if it was, but I don't think it will.
Would you go see it in theater if it was in theater?
Oh fuck yeah! I try to see Doug Jones in all the movies he's in because he's from Indiana. He's one of us.
I know he's one of us.
I didn't see the Bye Bye Man though because fuck that movie.
Bye Bye Man.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed with Shape of Water. I'm sorry to say.
You also don't have emotions, Devin.
I do. Like it was
There's
fine.
so many movies where you're just but this movie sucks.
I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was bad at all. I don't think it was bad at all. I thought it was fine. It was good, but it wasn't as good as you made it out to be. So
it was great. It was fantastic.
It wasn't great. It was good. It was great. It wasn't great. It was good. I was not impressed by it. Maybe it was because I watched The Shape of Water and It back to back. That may have ruined it for me, but
that might have ruined it. Yeah. Rewatch The Shape of Water. That movie's really good.
It's I don't know.
It's great. It's fantastic.
It's acted phenomenally. I think everybody in it does amazing.
Guillermo del Toro, fucking great director. I love him. That's all the movie stuff.
I got one more movie thing. It's about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Actually,
what is it?
Is
this the fucking Netflix thing?
Yeah, there's a 4-hour cut apparently that may come to Netflix.
Tarantino did this with Hateful Eight, where he kind of he took Hateful Eight, put it on Netflix, but made it like a mini series in a way where he kind of like split it up into like episodes. It was really bizarre. Why is this a thing? Maybe now, if we get a 4-hour cut, maybe now there'll be an actual like story to it.
I don't want to sit there for an extra hour of a movie of this movie.
I don't mind. I think 4 hours is a little much. I think that's a little long. But I'll sit there and watch this.
No, this is what I'm thinking. Is like, okay, I didn't really like the original cut, and that was already 3 hours. I had an extra. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes. I had an extra hour and 15 minutes. I don't think I'm gonna like it anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. But I'm a sucker for like director's cuts and stuff. If you put a director's cut out of any fucking movie, I'll watch it. So I'm gonna watch it.
If they would have made a cut that was shorter, maybe I'd rewatch it.
And I'll let you know if it's any better.
Yeah, tell me if it makes more sense or anything.
Just more feet shots.
Oh God, that's all it was. That's all he cut out.
Pretty much. Knowing Tarantino, I would not doubt it. Tarantino's a fucking weirdo.
He's a crazy director.
He really is. Have you seen interviews with him? He's very like eccentric and weird.
No, I haven't seen interviews.
He's so strange.
When I watched Reservoir, I forgot I watched Reservoir Dogs. But
how did you like Reservoir Dogs?
It was amazing. I loved it. It was great. It was perfect. Like I don't think I could critique it in any way, to be honest. I'd have to go rewatch it if I was going to critique it like a lot. Like Quentin Tarantino's in it for like 5 minutes and they killed him off.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be a bigger character than he was.
No, he's in all of his movies. He just shows up as like small little.
Was he in Once Upon a Time? I didn't see him in it.
I don't think so.
I was going to say, he's got a distinct man.
He's got a very weird face.
He's got a caveman face. That's what
he really does.
Maybe
he'll be in the 4-hour cut.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he cut out. He cut out his part.
He got beat up by a pit in it.
Probably. That'd be fun. He got scalped in Inglourious Bastards. So.
Did he really?
Yeah.
But I really like Steve Buscemi, and
Steve Buscemi's great. I think everyone in that movie is fucking great. Reservoir Dogs is like one of my favorite movies. I love it.
I was so surprised with Tim Roth in it too.
Tim Roth was so good. He's just like, I'm fucking dying, man. The whole movie, he's just covered in blood and he's dying.
I know. He's just laying on the floor like the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I like how it ends. Spoilers on how it ends. I like how everyone just dies. I like how everybody just dies.
Yeah.
Just kill everybody else.
Everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
That's classic Tarantino.
Classic Tarantino. Except for in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I still don't think that was his movie. I don't think he made it.
He's got his name on
it. Doesn't mean he made it.
He could have ghost directed it. He could have pulled the George Lucas and ghost directed it.
Ghost directed it?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Where he has someone else direct it, but he's just like,
he's there.
His name on it, and he's just kind of there, like observing everything.
Yeah, freaking George Lucas made the prequels.
George Lucas, another weird individual.
Yeah, who makes like 3 fantastic movies and then just drops off?
Well, he didn't make the original trilogy. He made Star Wars.
He wrote it.
He co-wrote it.
He wrote it.
Star Wars was a complete accident. We'll get into that.
Yeah. I got one TV news.
What is it?
It's about the John Wick Continental TV.
There's more news on this.
It's been confirmed it is a prequel. Keanu Reeves will show up in at least one episode, and it's very bloody.
Is this like an anthology thing, or is there going to be a main character?
I don't know. I haven't heard that much.
Because I don't want Keanu Reeves to be the main character of it. I want this to be something else, and maybe he could just like cameo in it.
I've heard they've. He said he's there. They've said he's in at least one episode, so
that's fine. Just have him show up and just be like, "Yo, I'm Joe Wick," and then just leave. That's it.
Like, do you think they'll bring back? I don't know his name in the movie or the actor, but the black dude that's the receptionist.
Oh, Lance Reddick.
Yeah,
he's so cool.
They should bring him back and make him like.
Of course, he's the doorman. Or whatever.
I know they should make him one of the main characters. Maybe not the main character, but one of the main characters.
That'd be amazing. Bring back Ian McShane, DAG Ian McShane, because he's cool as fuck too.
I mean, I don't know how much of a prequel this is. It may only be like a year.
It'll be pull a solo and have it start like. It'll be like 2 hours before the first John Wick.
Or Rogue One, where it ends right when John Wick happens.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go. Possible. There you go.
I'm excited for this like cinematic universe they're trying to set up with John Wick. I just wish that they stopped with the John Wick films. Because how many of those are we gonna get?
3 is enough, but we're getting a 4th. Apparently,
we're getting a 4th, and then if that does well, we'll get a 5th, and then a 6th, and it'll end up. John Wick will eventually be one of those franchises where we go like, "Fuck, they're still making those? Like, really?" And that's
like. They're going to make a cinematic universe out of this, which is fine. It's because John Wick was not accidentally good, but it wasn't trying to be a cinematic universe.
No, it was accidentally good. That movie has no right being as good as it is.
I don't think any movie's accidentally good. Everybody wants to make a good movie, but I'm just saying it was not. The movie was not made to be a cinematic universe. It just they're kind of trying.
Yeah, they didn't intend for it to be as big as it is.
Yeah.
But
which I'm surprised so many people went and saw the 3rd one. I didn't think it was that big.
Oh, dude, John Wick is fucking huge now.
I know. I didn't think it was that big of a franchise.
It's weird that people are going to grow up now knowing Keanu Reeves from John Wick. It's like we kind of grew up knowing him from like The Matrix and shit.
I still think of him as the dude from The Matrix. That's what I picture him as. He doesn't act very well in that movie, but
he doesn't act in any movie, Devin.
He's okay in John Wick. He's way better in John Wick than he is in The Matrix.
In John Wick because he's just playing himself.
Like compare side by side. Compare The Matrix to John Wick. He is phenomenal in John Wick compared to The Matrix. Do you have any TV news you want to talk about?
I don't have any TV news.
Okay, well I got a couple of game news too. Both are about Call of Duty.
Why are we talking about Call of Duty?
Because it's game news.
So much news.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, both of these are about it. The beta was announced. It has cross-play confirmed, which is cool.
That's cool.
PS4, Xbox, and PC all together. And then it will have a multiplayer that will support up to 100 players. So it's just becoming fucking Battlefield.
I mean, that's good because Battlefield is great.
I mean, I'm not a big Call of Duty fan. Neither are you, but...
No, I'm not.
Didn't you buy one of them?
I bought like 3 of them in a row, like as they came out, and they were all the same. And I was just like, this was a mistake.
That's all the Call of Duty games are. They're all the same.
Yeah. Black Ops 3 had an interesting like campaign, but
I still think the first Black Ops is one of the best Call of Duty games ever made.
I guess it was fine. They're all the same. They're like, doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right. Marvel or DC? Which one do you want to start with?
I only have DC news.
Oh, so really?
We can end with that. Yeah, I don't have any Marvel news.
I have a couple Marvel news. Jamie Alexander wants to return for Thor: Love and Thunder. She played.
Of course she does, because she wasn't in the 3rd one, and she's like, "Fuck, these movies are like getting really popular now."
Well, she was a regular, I guess, on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She comes into that every season, I think.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard she was on that for a while.
Yeah, so I don't like. People are saying that Sif should come back and be Valkyrie's partner relationship.
Or like girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's a possibility.
So that way you don't have to do the who should Thor pick.
Is Thor going to be in this? Because I've been debating, like, it's Thor 4, but like, are they doing it to where like Thor's going to be in it, or are they just going to call Jane Foster Thor like they do in the comics?
During the Comic-Con, they confirmed Chris Hemsworth was on.
So he's not in Guardians 3.
No, he's not in Guardians
3. None of that shit matters from Endgame.
I don't know. I mean, he could cameo in Guardians 3. Doesn't mean he's in it.
I want fucking Guardians and Thor team up, which is what everyone wanted after Endgame because they set it up.
You never know. He could change his mind. James Gunn hasn't even started writing Guardians 3 yet. Or he's
not gonna. James Gunn is gonna be like, oh, fuck Thor. This is my movie.
This is my movie. Get out.
I'm making Suicide Squad and fucking Guardians.
You saw this one earlier. You should have had this on your MCU news because I know you saw this. Black Panther 2 villain confirmed. Namor.
I don't think that's confirmed. I think it's like it's being talked about right now. I don't think it's 100% confirmed.
The sources of it knew about Taskmaster and the Mandarin before we did, so I'd say they're pretty reliable.
But the source has like a good track record.
He's got a good track record. He's got a pretty reliable.
I mean, I've been saying since we reviewed Black Panther that fucking Namor should be the villain because that would be a really interesting thing. And there's been like a bunch of fan edits running around of like Black Panther, and then the subtitle would be like Two Kings, and I'm like, that's like a fun name for it that I think they should go with, and that would be a cool kind of relationship to have between Namor and Black Panther. I don't know if they're going to do that though. It'd be cool if they did, but I don't think they will.
That would be cool because that is very relatable for both of them. And I also think with the setup and Endgame, like they're going to get to him eventually.
They'll do him eventually, but I don't know if they're going to be like smart enough to actually make him a villain. And then because have we ever had a villain on the Avenger, like in the MCU, that became part of the Avengers?
Scarlet Witch.
I guess, yeah, that's fair.
/ Quicksilver, but Quicksilver's dead.
Quicksilver's dead, so fuck him.
But yeah, I mean, that's the only one I can think of.
I mean, I guess Winter Soldier. But
Namor's not really an Avenger, though. He's just kind of...
No, but like, we'll probably have other team-ups and stuff for them in the future.
Yeah, but... I don't know why everybody wants that Namor movie so bad. He's just Aquaman.
He's a better Aquaman because he's an asshole.
I guess.
He's imagine Tony Stark, but in the water.
Tony Stark, but in the water.
Or probably, I'd say more Doctor Strange in the water because Doctor Strange is more of an asshole.
Yeah, Doctor Strange don't give two shits. David Leitch, I think that's his name. He's interested in directing the new Blade movie.
Yeah, I saw this. Which it's like, all right, cool. He's a really good action director, but it's like, I want to direct the next Blade movie. This doesn't fucking mean anything.
Didn't he direct Deadpool 2?
He directed Deadpool 2. He directed Hobbs and Shaw. He directed Atomic Blonde. He directed he co-directed the first John Wick. He's directed a lot of action.
He's got some good movies under his belt. So if they get him, that'd be dope. And then
he's not very good with like story and characters, but he's good with action.
That's not what his job will be for this. I'm sure somebody else is going to write this movie.
Well, yeah, but a director has to be involved with that a little bit.
A little bit, but like I'm sure like Marvel has plans for what they want to do with a Blade movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and then this, I don't know if this is MCU. It's definitely Marvel, but I don't know if it's MCU anymore because it's what's part of the Hulu shows. The Runaway and Cloak and Dagger are gonna meet up. They're gonna be in the same show.
That's cool. I mean,
I don't know if
the Netflix people were also involved. Because they reference Luke Cage on fucking Cloak and Dagger.
I was gonna say, so I don't know if that is canon anymore in the MCU or not. So.
It's not. None of these fucking shows are anymore. But still, it'd be like if you're gonna have a crossover, like bring in Daredevil, bring in Luke Cage. Luke Cage exists in the TV universe at least because they reference him in Cloak and Dagger.
That's all the news I got. But I think it'd be a cool crossover event. I guess I haven't seen either of the shows, so I don't know how good they are. Everybody says they're good.
I hear Cloak and Dagger is like really good. I've seen it like on Rotten Tomatoes, it has like a 90%. I'm like, really? This fucking ABC Family show is like a fucking 90%.
I may have to go through and watch them because they're not too far in. I think they're 2 seasons each in or something.
Yeah, I think both are 2 seasons. I want to watch Cloak and Dagger because Cloak and Dagger interests me more than the fucking Runaways.
Runaways has a freaking Velociraptor.
Yeah, they do. Even though there's a Runaways character that kind of looks like me, but
oh yeah, there is. His hair's not as long, but yeah.
No, his hair is fucking like giant. He's got. Like,
I was thinking that one dude from Pikachu.
Yeah, well, that's me.
Yeah, that is you.
That's just me.
That's all the MCU / Marvel news I have. So let's get into the DC. What you got?
Boom, the stuff I care about. Black Adam to start filming in late 2020.
Like the movie? Like the Black Adam movie?
Yeah. What else?
I didn't know if you meant like he's going to be filming for Shazam. Black Adam will be in Shazam.
No, I think this is the solo Black Adam.
So they're doing a solo movie before he meets Shazam?
Yeah,
I guess.
Sense.
I guess, yeah. What's he going to do?
He's Rob Banks? Black Adam shit. I mean, Black Adam is an interesting character. He's got on Kandak or Kandar, whatever the fuck his place is called. They can make a movie out of him. He's got his own comics and stuff, and they work. So I mean, I think they're gonna go with the more like anti-hero route, where he's more of a good guy, but he's just kind of an asshole, rather than him being a straight up villain.
Nah, they should just make it a straight up villain movie. That'd be dope.
I mean, it'd be cool to see The Rock as a villain, but we can't have it anymore.
I can't wait to see him in this movie. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, he's going to be great. I hope this movie comes out. I don't think it will, but
if it actually starts filming next year, it'll come out.
If we see set photos of it, then I'll believe that it's coming out. But until
if they start filming, they're not going to just like put it on a shelf somewhere. They're going to release that shit and try to make money off of it.
I mean, yeah, you would think they would also want to release the Snyder Cut and make money off of it, but yeah, so DC just does whatever the fuck they want, I guess.
Well, Warner Brothers does. Warner Brothers don't give two shits.
Yeah, they really don't. Next, Darkseid is apparently going to appear in the New Gods movie, which is interesting because I think he is one of the New Gods. I'm not super familiar with the New Gods. They're kind of like Marvel's Eternals, where like they're in a completely different like headspace than anything I know of. But I think he's one of them, or he's like a part of them, or whatever. But it's gonna be like a younger Darkseid. But that's weird because we haven't seen an older Darkseid yet. So
true.
It's like, all right.
I was gonna say, do they have anybody cast yet?
I don't think so. They have a director attached to it, and I don't know when they're gonna start shooting it. But this was announced a while ago, and it's kind of surprising that they haven't like cast anybody in it yet.
It has me worried for DC shit. Has me worried. Like, do you think he'll be a main character in this movie, or since he's gonna be younger, I don't know if they actually use him that much, or if he'd be just like a cameo in the background.
I don't know. I mean, I'd appreciate a cameo. I don't know the New Gods like from fucking anything, but I know a couple of the characters, but I don't know like the whole New Gods comics or anything. But like, he could be the villain. It'd be weird to make Darkseid. That's like, imagine if Thanos was the villain in like Guardians 1, and then we just never saw him again. Like, that'd be odd.
He kind of was the villain in Guardians 1.
No, he wasn't. He had a cameo. He did nothing in that movie.
He was behind the scenes.
Yeah, but he wasn't the main villain of the MCU until Infinity War.
He was always in the background, lurking.
But he wasn't. They didn't like fight him and say, hey, they didn't market the movie as Thanos is the villain. Ronan was the villain.
Okay. I'll give you that.
So it's like, imagine if they were just like, oh, Darkseid is just the villain of this movie, and you're never going to see him ever again. It's like, that's strange.
That's probably what's going to happen.
It probably will, knowing them, because they don't go, this universe is weird and it's dumb and none of it matters. But that's just weird. I don't like that.
Like, where is he going to show up after this?
Fucking, if they ever make a Justice League 2, show up in Justice League. He should have showed up in Justice League. Yeah,
he should have, but he didn't. We had Steppenwolf instead.
Exactly. His like fucking uncle or some shit.
But they changed it in the movie to make him a nephew or something.
Yeah, some fucking nonsense. Fuck Steppenwolf.
My only DC news is Aquaman confirmed as queer in the Young Justice Outsiders.
Yeah, I saw this too. I was like, yeah, who gives a shit?
It's an animated movie, so
it's a show. Apparently, it's a good show. I don't watch this because I don't care about Young Justice, but everyone's freaking out. They're like, "Well, you making Aquaman gay?" And I'm like, "It's technically Aqualad, who's just taken up the mantle of Aquaman, like for right now. So it's a different character technically, but it's like, who gives a shit? I don't care.
I don't care if he's gay or not.
Yeah, I don't.
Especially since it's not like any mainstream thing. It's just an animated TV
it's a cartoon, and it's a character that nobody really fucking knows about or cares about. If they made like Aquaman, like Arthur Curry gay, I'd be like, that's a little like, you're kind of pandering. But this is like, it's Aqualad. Who the fuck gives a shit about Aqualad? That's like making Iron Lad in the Marvel Comics gay. It's like, all right, whatever. I don't care.
He's not. He's like the sidekick. He's not really.
Yeah, he's a little side boy. Yeah,
he's not really the main dude. What is Young Justice about? Just the Young Justice.
It's kind of like the Teen Titans, but it's just it's It's sort of like the Teen Titans, essentially. It's just another spin-off team. It's like raising the next. It's like Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are like the mentors to the next generation of like the Justice League.
Oh, I see. I see. Well, that's all the DC news I got. You got any more?
I mean, I have Batfleck news, but I feel like it'll just piss me off, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Okay. You got anything else you want to talk about?
That's it. That's all the news I got.
All right, let's get into the review for the day.
Hobbs and Shaw, or should I say the full title, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, aka Wild Speed Super Combo, as it's known in Japan.
Yeah. Why do they call it Fast and Furious Presents? I don't know.
Because it's the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah, but they don't have to put that in the title. You can just assume.
Yeah, but they need to. It's a cinematic universe. They have to make sure that people know that.
Before we start talking about this movie, I just love how this franchise has turned into such nonsense.
Yeah, it started off. The first movie was just about Vin Diesel just driving fast in a car, and then now it's like we got to save the world. Like that's so fucking hilarious.
This whole franchise has just gone just to the shitter. But
yeah, and to preface, I haven't seen any Fast and Furious film. This was like my first one.
I've seen the very first one, and I've seen the one where what's his face dies, Paul Walker's. But that's it. It's the only two I've seen.
So the first and the seventh.
Yeah,
I think this movie did a really good job being a standalone film. I was actually surprised at how standalone this movie was, because I was expecting going in. I was like, oh, there's going to be like references and stuff to the other movies. There's only like a couple that I noticed. And they do a really good job at the beginning, like establishing who these characters are for people who, have never seen any of these movies. And I thought they did a really good job of that. That being said, this movie's really dumb and stupid and nonsensical and ridiculous, but I loved every second of it. I loved it.
I was going to say, there's a lot of things in this where I'm like, no.
None of this makes any sense.
Yeah. But I'm like, but there's so much explosions and fighting and shit. And I'm like,
but it's like, that's kind of the reason we went to go see it. We saw the trailers and we're like, that looks fucking ridiculous. I want to go see that. We weren't going in expecting like Citizen Kane or anything.
I was going in for the deep story there.
Yeah, there isn't one.
I mean, there's a story.
It's not a deep story. There's barely a story. It's just like, there's a virus that we gotta fucking save the world from. Ooh.
I think the only returning characters from the Fast and Furious is Hobbs and Shaw.
Helen Mirren was in one of them.
Was she?
Yeah, she was in 7, 8. I don't know. She was in one of them though.
But that's it. I don't think there's anybody else that's in any of the other movies.
I think so. Not to my knowledge. I don't know.
Which I guess that makes this a better spinoff because it doesn't have all the characters in it. But
yeah, I mean, and this does totally work as a standalone film.
Oh yeah.
That you can just watch and not know anything. And they do a really good job with of kind of telling you who these characters are without actually like spelling it out. Like they have that really cool like side by side split screen of them like waking up in the morning and like working out or whatever. And it shows that they're kind of the same, but they just do things differently and whatever. And I was like, that's a fun bit of visual storytelling that we don't get a lot in big budget blockbuster films. That's really the only time where this movie is actually like artsy fartsy. The rest of it's just nonsense. But
I was gonna say I really liked the beginning. That was nice.
Beginning's really fun. The opening was a little weird to me. Like the opening with like Idris Elba coming in. It was just like the feel of it and the vibe of it was. I was just like, this is kind of off. But once we got to like The Rock and Statham, I was like, fuck yeah, we're into it. The moment The Rock had one line where he was holding like one of these goons or whatever, and he was just like, I've read on the deep web that there's a virus that's going to extinguish all of mankind. I was like, we're in. Like, fuck yeah. That's like The Rock had to say that. That was in a script that The Rock had to read. Like, fuck yeah. It's amazing.
I think their chemistry actually works really well. The Rock and Jason Statham.
Most of the movie is just them
fighting,
like, making fun of each other and bickering back and forth, which is really fun.
Which, do you think any of that was improv, or do you think it was all written?
I'm sure a lot of it was improv.
I think they have good chemistry though for two people that I wouldn't imagine to have very good chemistry.
They really do. They have. They're like the next Kevin Hart and The Rock.
I think The Rock just has good chemistry with everybody. I think that's
he does because he's a charming fellow.
He's from Samoa.
That has nothing to do with it.
He's Hawaiian.
I will say this movie was really fucking long though.
It was 2 hours and 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, there was a moment like right after they have a fight with Idris Elba, and like The Rock looks at his photo and he's like, "I gotta go home." I was like, "Fuck!" There's like another like hour left. I was like, "This is a little too long." I was enjoying it, but I was like, "Fuck!"
I
The
did.
whole Samoa part of this film that we haven't even seen yet.
I was gonna say I do agree. It did lag on a little bit, just because the whole movie was the same thing. It was like, oh, let's fight these dudes. Oh, let's go fight these dudes. Let's go fight these dudes. Which is what everybody knew this movie was going to be about. But
Yeah, I mean that's what we were expecting, and there was some really fun action. There was a lot of cool, interesting choreography and some fun character bits, and a lot of like really awesome set pieces and shit.
yeah,
But it was just a little too much. Like I think if there was a couple bits where we just kind of like slowed down a little bit, would have kind of maybe evenly paced it out a little bit. But
yeah, we could have got some more character development with the girl, whatever her name was.
yeah, I don't remember the character's name. Vanessa Kirby is the actress.
Yeah, she didn't really do much. She was just there because she had the virus. That was about it.
She wanted to fuck The Rock for some reason.
Yeah, that was a weird subplot that I wasn't really into, but
Yeah, that felt forced.
it really did.
Get it? Everyone wants to bang The Rock. Like, cool. Move on.
And that was the plan. The part on the plane where he's like, "I'm gonna let her climb this mountain of a man." I'm like, "What in the fuck? What was that?"
Like that to me was just The Rock just riffing.
It probably was, but at the same time, I'm like, who would say that about themselves?
The Rock.
Maybe. I mean, he is called The Rock, but
Exactly.
still.
How did you feel about Idris Elba as Black Superman? Because I don't remember the actual character's name.
I feel like he was a little underused. I feel like he should have been in it just I feel like he should have been in it just a little bit more. But overall, like he was okay, I guess.
I thought he was great. Idris Elba is one of those actors that like he can be in like the worst piece of shit on the planet, but he'll be like the best actor in that fucking piece of shit. Like he gives his fucking A game in this movie.
I just wish I saw a little bit more of the background. Like they said a little bit.
We don't need to know that.
You don't think so?
He's a villain. He's got powers for some reason, and he's after Hobbs and Shaw. This isn't a deep movie.
I know.
It's just like, hey, go see explosions and shit. That's all I needed.
I know. Idris Elba knocked it out of the park for what he had to work with.
What is his character's name? Did they ever say it?
It's Bristow or whatever. Bristow?
Because I just call him Black Superman.
Something with a B.
Black Superman.
No. They say it.
Bristow. I don't remember.
Gustavo.
That's his character's name. Gustavo.
Do you want to get in? I don't know. Are we in spoilers? Are we even doing?
No, we haven't talked about spoilers yet. Do you want to get into spoilers?
Is there anything else you want to say before we get into?
Not really. I mean, I really enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah. If you want a dumb action flick, go see it for sure.
Oh, for sure. This isn't for everyone. I'm sure some people will watch this and be like, "What the fuck is this?" and leave or turn it off or whatever. This kind of reminded me of when I saw Mission Impossible Fallout last year, where there was like a string of movies that came out where I was just like, "Fuck!" Like everything was so like mediocre and like boring, and then Mission Impossible Fallout came out, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, this is what I needed." Hobbs and Shaw is kind of like that, where it's just like everything that has come out has been fine, and I've enjoyed it, but it's just like this was a nice kind of change of pace, and it was really fun, and I could just. It's always refreshing when you get a break and you just get to like watch a movie and just turn your brain off and not have to think about it.
I was about to say this is for sure a turn your brain off type movie.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't follow the story, you just kind of sit there and let it go
along and watch The Rock strong arm a helicopter.
Right, like that's what I was going to get into spoilers with some of that crazy shenanigans.
Let's get into the spoilers. Spoiler time.
All right, first and foremost, let's talk about these cameos.
It's like a Deadpool 2 reunion up in
exactly. We got Ryan Reynolds, we got Kevin Hart, we got the dude who plays Peter. I don't know his name.
Rob Delaney, I think is his name.
Yeah, like we got just random cameos that I was not expecting whatsoever.
Yeah, the scientist who was the villain in Deadpool 2, who may or may not be Mr. Sinister, was also in it, which was fun.
Ryan Reynolds fucking knocked it out of the park.
He was so great. He had a great after credit scene too.
He did, and he just played Deadpool in the movie.
That's Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds.
I know, but that's what he did, and I loved it. It was
so funny. He just shows up at this diner, and he's just like, "Oh, me and The Rock go way back. We were like childhood friends." And The Rock's like, "I have no idea who the fuck you are."
He's kind of a stalker in this. It's kind of weird. I love when they cut back to him in the middle of the movie. He's like, I'm in the diner again. He's like, I think it's closed.
There's nobody here. I think it's closed.
Then it cuts
So much
away.
fun.
And that was it. That was the whole thing.
Hobbs and Shaw 2, I want more Ryan Reynolds. I want Ryan Reynolds to be like, you know how in Mission Impossible, it's like you have like Benji and like Ving Rhames and like the whole like crew. I want Ryan Reynolds to have more screen time and be like an official member of like the Hobbs and Shaw crew in the sequel.
When Kevin Hart was like, I want to be your third guy, I think they should make him Ryan Reynolds, make him the third guy.
I mean, yeah, they probably will.
Good.
Kevin Hart will show up again in the second one, and he'll just be like, "What? Like, what the fuck? Why not the third guy? Like, what the hell?" Kevin Hart was hilarious in this.
He was, and I was really not expecting his cameo at all.
No, he literally just pops out of nowhere.
Yeah, he just pops out from behind the seat.
It's Kevin Hart. He's playing an air marshal.
Yeah, and he's not an air marshal whatsoever. He's super
too
tiny.
Small. He's too small for that shit.
He was actually really funny in this because he was trying. There's a lot of movies where he tries a little too hard to be funny. It's not funny.
There were no real short jokes, which was surprising.
I know. Well, I mean, you didn't really see him standing next to anybody, so I guess that's why. But
yeah, but usually his whole thing is just like, "Oh man, I'm small, but I'm
strong and fast."
I'm like, he would make a really good Wolverine if he wasn't black.
How dare you? He's too short.
We're not getting a black Wolverine. Are you fucking kidding me?
He's too short.
He's too short for Wolverine.
He is.
Wolverine's like 4'9".
No.
Wolverine's a midget.
Wolverine's like 5 foot in my mind.
He's like almost Tom Cruise height.
Tom Cruise is not that short. He's like
Tom Cruise is like almost 4 foot.
He's like 4'5'3" or something.
No, not even close.
I'm pretty
not
sure
even like remotely close. He's like 4'2".
He's not 4'2". What the fuck are you
talking?
talking?
A little midget boy.
No, he's 5'3". He's over 5.
Are we talking about Kevin Hart or Tom Cruise?
Either or. They're both, I think, 5 foot or more.
I don't believe that for a second.
Kevin Hart is not that short. He's not 4 foot.
Short baby man.
Short. No.
Welcome back to the Making Fun of Kevin Hart podcast.
Well, we're talking about Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. We got to get back on track.
Right. We talked about the cameos. What else is? Oh, The Rock. The Rock doing so many stupid stunts that don't make any sense in this.
This whole movie is just that.
Yeah, but there's just so many that just took me out of it a little bit that I was like, that can't happen. Like where he punches a window while he's sitting in the car. He punches the window and grabs a dude off a motorcycle. I'm like,
no, I loved this. I love nonsense movies where I'm just like, fuck yeah. None of this makes any sense, but I'm loving it.
I'm
like,
just sitting there. I'm like,
Rock jumps out that window on that building, and he's just running down the fucking side of the building. I'm just like, this is incredible.
He's not running; he's just skydiving.
There's a moment where he's like running like briefly, and then he's just jumping on guys as they're falling. I'm like, this is hilarious. I love it.
See, that's more realistic than the window. First of all, you can't punch a window.
The Rock can punch a window.
Second of all, if you try to grab a dude on a speeding motorcycle while you're in a speeding car, you're gonna break your arm.
But we have to take into account that this is the fucking Rock.
It's still gonna break your arm.
No, the Rock is made of pure muscle. He has no bones.
Doesn't matter. He's still gonna break his arm.
I feel like the Rock could do all that.
And he grabbed a helicopter.
Yeah, he Captain America the fuck out of the helicopter, man.
Captain America makes sense because he's a superhuman. The Rock is just the Rock.
The Rock is a superhuman, Devin.
He's superhuman to us, but
exactly.
Captain America is superhuman to the Rock. So that makes sense.
I don't know. I'd like to see the Rock and Captain America fight.
I bet you Cap could bench like 500 pounds.
You probably could, but guess what? The Rock also could bench 500 pounds.
No, he said in the movie he does like 340 or 350 or something.
That's the movie, though. I'm talking about like the Rock.
I'm sure that's about the same he can do in real life.
The Rock in real life is like the closest we'll ever have to like a superhero.
No, he's not very fast because he's big.
He doesn't have to be fast. He's the thing.
The thing's fast.
He's buff. He's a giant rock man. He ain't fast.
He could jump. He's got jump.
Rock can probably jump.
I bet you he can't dunk.
Seen the Rock jump?
No, but I bet you he can't dunk.
No, because he's fucking 200 pounds of muscle. He just
yeah, that's what I'm saying. White boy can't jump, even though he ain't white.
He's
Samoan,
half black and half Samoan which is the oddest combination of races I've ever seen.
Who's your mama? Who's your daddy?
Who is your daddy and what does he do? That's a completely different movie. But getting back to Hobbs and Shaw.
What'd you think? What'd you think about the end, the Samoa fight
I
scene?
thought. I remember seeing that in the trailer, and I was like, "How the fuck are they gonna fight with like clubs against all these guys with guns?" But then in the movie, they made it clear that like other guns don't work, and I was like, "All right, that's a little better." It's still a little goofy and ridiculous. But I mean,
Yeah, because I feel like
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I feel like those guys still have like knives and
Yeah, I'm sure they got backups and shit. Like,
probably guns that don't use the glove thing. But
also, it's a little weird that like, why is Idris Elba out of all of them? Why is he the only one that has like superpowers?
that's what I was thinking.
Like, why can't you have like a whole army of people with like superpowers? Like, why him specifically? That's a little weird.
Because he's Idris Elba. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Who's I don't know. Should we know who the mastermind is behind this? Like, is that obvious?
That's the thing. It was so weird because at the end it was like, oh, The Rock, like when we meet, you're gonna fucking love it. And it's like, obviously it's somebody from his past, but then the movie just ends. And I was like, what?
Yeah, because
We're explaining.
Not seeing the other Fast and Furious movies, I don't know if this is obvious or if this is.
I don't think so,
obvious.
because I've seen reviews of people who have seen the other Fast and Furious movies, and even they're just like, what the fuck? I think they're saving it. I think the sequel they'll probably show that, and
it's gonna be his daddy,
someone back from the previous films or something, and make it a big thing.
It's gonna be his daddy.
That'd be hilarious.
Did they say did his dad die? No, he went to prison.
No, he went to jail or some shit.
Yeah, for trying to slaughter his kids or something.
Yeah, some weird.
Is there anything like crazy? Is there anything crazy you want to talk about from this?
I want to talk about the fucking end fight with Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh yeah, that was dope. I was actually really into that.
It becomes a Zack Snyder movie for like 20 minutes, where it's just dark and it's raining, and that's the closest we'll ever get to a Superman versus Black Adam fight. I feel.
I mean, yeah, probably. I like how the slow-mo use. It was actually
really good. It's a little like stupid that it's just like, let's just double team him and he won't be able to stop us, even though the last 2 hours of the movie he's done nothing but fucking beat our asses.
It's way over the top, but
it is. But it's a lot of fun. And that line The Rock says where he's like, "Time to meet your kryptonite," and he fucking like drops him. I'm like, that's a fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
That hurt me in the theater. Like when he just body slams him into that rock. Painful. I was like, ooh.
That was really painful. And then they don't even really beat Idris Elba. He just he gets shut down and he falls into an ocean.
I mean, they would have beat him. They're beating the shit.
Bring him back for the Hobbs and Shaw 2.
Nah, he's dead.
Part of the team.
He's dead.
He's not dead. He came back from the dead once already, apparently.
He's dead. He fell in the ocean.
And came back.
He fell in the ocean. Black men can't swim.
I mean, yeah, but he's a robot.
But they shut the robot part down.
Have him get struck by lightning or something, and then it'll just be like, oh, now I'm just a sentient robot man who can do anything.
If that's how Hobbs and Shaw 2 starts, like that'd be insane. Like lightning strikes the ocean, and he just rises out of it like Cyborg. Like
it'd be incredible. He's like, I want revenge on that robot man, that sentient voice who I don't know who it is, and then he joins the team. I just wrote the second movie. Boom.
With Ryan Reynolds or leave Ryan Reynolds out?
I mean, make Ryan Reynolds part of the team, just like the behind the scenes guys or whatever. But have him be like a main character. Have them team up with Idris Elba the way they teamed up with Shaw's sister in this film.
I guess so. I was really surprised. I was expecting a Vin Diesel cameo in this, to be honest.
That would have been fun. But I think The Rock and Vin Diesel have like some kind of feud or some shit.
They were in Fast and Furious 8 together.
Yeah. But the whole thing was like, oh, I don't like working with fucking The Rock because he's arrogant or some shit. Like there was this whole like behind the scenes beef or whatever.
But they were still in the movie.
Like, y'all making millions of dollars. Like, y'all need to get the fuck over it.
Because they're both massive people, and they're like, I got bigger muscles than you, and
they are.
You got bigger muscles than me.
That's probably what happened.
The Rock is bigger. I'm sorry, Vin Diesel. He's bigger than
I mean, yeah, he is.
I don't know anybody who's bigger than The Rock because he's The Rock.
There's probably somebody, but we don't know them.
I realized in this movie how massive he truly is.
He's fucking gigantic.
When I saw him sitting on that plane, I was like, he is so big.
He's almost like cartoonishly big.
Which is weird because like he's like our height, but he's just a massive.
Yeah, he's like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, he's just a massive human being. Though.
He's a very wide man.
I know. His arms are like the size of our head.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it. I don't get how he does it. He does flex a lot in this movie too.
He does. There was one scene, I don't remember what Fast and Furious movie it's from because I haven't seen the movie. I've just seen the scene where he flexes out of a cast and it breaks.
What?
He's like, Daddy's got to go to work, and he flexes and breaks the cast. And I'm like, I need to fucking start watching these movies, man. These are fucking absurd.
They've become such nonsense.
Yeah, I love it.
Especially since I just rewatched the first one, and then I went and saw Hobbs and Shaw, and I was like, what?
Like, how'd you get A to Z?
Exactly. I was like, what happened with these movies?
I love this movie. I thought this movie was a fantastic summer fun blockbuster film.
What references did you catch from the Fast and Furious franchise?
I noticed a couple movie references outside of the Fast and Furious franchise. Like there was a couple references to like The Italian Job, which was a movie that Jason Statham was in. There was a 48 Hours reference, which is a buddy cop film with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. There was a Cobra reference, which is a shitty Stallone film. And there was a couple tiny references from the Fast and Furious films where The Rock was just like, "Oh, I've saved the world like 4 times." And I'm like, I assume that's from those movies, I guess.
I think so too. I saw the only thing I can think of that was a reference to the first one was the nitrous thing. They used the same shot almost when they were on the they had all the cars on the helicopter and they hit the juice or whatever.
Oh, the moonshine.
Yeah, that was the same shot as from the first movie where you go into the engine and you see all the stuff happening.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a very, if it's not the same shot, it's a very similar shot to how they did it in the first.
I mean, yeah, that could have been a reference to that.
I'm sure it was.
I didn't catch that because I haven't seen that fucking movie.
Well, since I just watched it, I caught it.
Yeah.
They don't call it moonshine in the first one though. It's just
they call it moonshine in this one.
It's called turbo, I think, or boost or something. Hit the moonshine.
Hit the moonshine. I thought one of the after credit scenes because there's technically like 4 after credit scenes because the movie ends in such a weird way. It just ends with like The Rock and Jason Statham like going down a mountain, and The Rock's like, "Oh hey, you're like Robin to my Batman," and then the credits start rolling, and I'm like, That's an odd way to end it. But there's still scenes playing during the credits, which was fun. Which is I don't understand why you couldn't just make that the end, but whatever. And then there was one post credit scene with Ryan Reynolds where he's just like, "Oh, there's another virus that we gotta get, but this time it melts your outsides."
That was hilarious, and I love how he's talking on the phone, and then people start shooting in the background, and he's like, "Hold on, give me a minute."
Yeah, he's just like, "Give me a second." That was fun. And then there was a one after all the credits.
Yeah, and I didn't stay for that one. What was that one?
Because you're a goober. It was just a fun interaction between The Rock and Jason Statham, where The Rock calls him. Jason Statham's like in a diner, and he's like, "I'm Jason Statham," buh. And then The Rock's like, "Hey, watch your back, because I'll fucking get you back." And then you just hear the cops outside, and they're just like, "Come out with your hands up, Hugh Janus." And Jason Statham's like, "Oh fuck." And The Rock's like, "See, I got you back for calling me Mike Cocksmall or whatever." And that was it. That was all that is, but it was fun.
That is pretty funny. I don't know if there's anything else I want to say about this movie. There's not much that happened in this movie besides just explosions.
Just The Rock punching people and explosions. There were a lot of cool set pieces and a lot of cool explosions. The CG was a little bleh in some spots, but whatever. I don't care.
Where did you see bad CG? I didn't really catch any.
Like that jet that was flying when they came out of it, that was bad. I was like, that looks like a fucking 90s CG.
Oh yeah. Jet. Oh, where the parachuting thing.
Yeah, and there were moments.
Parachuting scene. I forgot.
That was hilarious. That was fun.
They just opened their chutes like seconds before they hit the ground, and they're like, "Oh, we're fine." I'm like, "What the fuck?" No.
That reminded me a lot of the other guys when The Rock and Sam Jackson jump off the building, and then they just die.
Aim for the bushes, and then they just die.
Yeah, that reminded me a lot of that for some reason. And there was a lot of when they first fought Black Superman, when they're driving that truck and all the shit's falling behind them. I could tell that there was like green screen. I always hate in movies, in like modern movies, when they do this, because I could see like the green screen like lines around them, and I'm like, that's not real. Like fuck. A lot of newer movies have done that. I'm just like, y'all can't get like there are YouTubers that can do better green screen than this.
Right.
Like fucking, this is a multi-million-dollar film.
You think that was maybe a reshoot or something? That's why
it could have been. It could have been. I don't know why, because DC does this all the time with a lot of their stuff, and I notice it in some Marvel stuff too. So it's like, I don't know, like, you have all the money in the world.
They don't have time though. That's their issue. Time.
Don't have time. Fucking slow down.
Stop making 7 movies a year, Marvel.
Exactly. I'd recommend Hobbs and Shaw. I'm gonna buy Hobbs and Shaw on Blu-ray.
But I would not watch it if you're going in for a story. for sure.
No, this is a dumb, stupid movie.
But if you're going in it because you're a Fast and Furious fan, I say just go for it. Just,
Go for it. I've seen a lot of Fast and Furious fans not liking this, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because they're just like, oh, it's not as like deep or like as like emotional as the other ones.
None of the Fast and Furious movies are deep. What the fuck are you talking about?
These movies are dumb.
None of them are good. None of the Fast and Furious movies are good. At least the two I've seen aren't good. The first one's okay, and the seventh one is okay too. They're not great.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say this movie's like good, but it was a lot of fun and I enjoyed it.
Oh, I don't think it was good. It was if you're asking me to critique it, it was not good. But
there's a lot of like plot holes and shit in it.
There's a lot of plot holes and a lot of things that just can't physically happen, and it just didn't make any sense. But it was just fun, stupid movie to watch.
It's utter nonsense. It's like the way I describe some of the X-Men films is just like noise. This is noise. It's just visual noise, but it's fun. It's fun visual noise.
It is fun visual noise. I would definitely probably rewatch it. Maybe not maybe not like tomorrow. Like I need a break.
Yeah, it's a long movie.
I'd give me like a month, and maybe I'll want to rewatch it by then.
Yeah, when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'll definitely get it.
Yeah.
The fuck out of it.
You're gonna have to watch all the other Fast and Furious movies.
I don't, and I'm not gonna.
But you gotta know how it gets from A to B.
I don't need to know. Just the
A to
fact
B to
that
C
I
to D.
know it goes fucking off the rails is enough. I really don't want to sit through 8 movies of Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel.
Just think of the pacifier while you're doing it.
I don't need to do that. I'll just watch the pacifier. Why isn't the pacifier part of this universe?
It's a prequel to Fast and Furious.
Why the fuck not?
Because he's like a military spy dude in that.
Okay, he becomes one eventually in the series, doesn't he? He's just like a fucking action man.
I guess. I don't know.
Make it canon.
How do they go from racing cars in the street to saving the world? Like, how does that?
I think they realized that, oh fuck, this franchise can't survive longer than 3 films. We need to do something, and they just were like, fuck it.
And now they're trying to hit double digits.
And now they're trying to get, well, I mean, this is the 9th, and we have like 4 spinoffs planned, and then another Fast and Furious film.
I thought they're trying to hit 10 Fast and Furious films, though.
They're trying to hit 10 like mainline Fast and Furious films, but then they have like a female spinoff that they want to do, and then they have, I'm sure this is going to get a sequel at some point. Then there's going to be another spinoff of somebody. Like, they're trying to make a universe.
I don't know how much money this movie's going to make, though, because I could see a lot of people thinking this is utter just garbage, but it may make a lot of money. Who knows?
Yeah, it'll make some money because it's The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock. The Rock is the highest paid actor in Hollywood. Did you know that?
Is he for real?
He's the highest, and then George Clooney is the second highest.
George Clooney hasn't been in anything in like 20 years.
Second highest paid actor in Hollywood.
Doesn't make any sense.
The third is Robert Downey Jr. So
how much money is George Clooney getting paid?
Like 125 million or something.
That's fucking. Are you kidding me?
The Rock's making 200.
But that makes sense. The Rock is doing stuff. George Clooney hasn't fucking done anything in like 20 years.
George Clooney was in Gravity.
Oh, that's right. He was. Gravity sucked though. I didn't like Gravity.
I'm sure he's in other things that we just don't follow.
Wasn't he? I was gonna say he's Buzz Lightyear, but that's not true.
No, that's fucking Tim Allen.
For some reason, I just pictured him as Buzz Lightyear.
Don't you ever compare Tim Allen's beautiful voice to George Clooney?
Wasn't he in one of the Toy Story films though? George Clooney.
Unless he was Lotso the bear. I don't know who the bear was.
No, that was Ed Asner. I think. I don't think that was George Clooney.
No, I don't think so. Why would he be in Toy Story? Why would he do a Toy Story?
Fucking Michael Keaton was in Toy Story.
Who was he in?
He was Toy Story 3. He was Ken.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, that's Ken. It's not like a main.
Did all the Batman in these fucking Toy Story.
George Clooney is the RC car.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
It doesn't speak. It's just
hilarious. It'd be like in Deadpool 2 when Brad Pitt is in the movie, but he's not really.
He's just
in
there,
it, but not really.
So we done with Hobbs and Shaw? Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, no, I'm finished. Go see Hobbs and Shaw. It's fun.
Go see Hobbs and Shaw. We've only been doing this for an hour, so I say we got time for a ranking.
Yeah, boy. We're gonna rank Star Wars.
10 films.
Enough. I have a Star Wars shirt on.
I do not.
You fucking slacker.
Sorry.
And we're only gonna do the live action movies. We're not talking about the fucking Clone Wars and shit. No. I haven't seen any of that shit anyway, so
I can tell you. Here, I'll sum up the Clone Wars TV show. It's okay. It's better than the prequels. There you go.
People really love that show.
It's better than the prequels. So if you think prequels are garbage, Go
I
watch that.
mean, that's not really like saying much. There's, you know, how many movies are better than the prequels? Like 90% of films are better than the prequels.
It adds more to the prequel story. It makes the movies feel better if you know that that's canon.
There's
Like,
like
oh,
7 seasons too, right?
there's 6. The 7th's going to come out. I think.
Ah, Jesus. Fuck all these TV shows.
Well, I think they're just coming out with one more season because they want to end the story. Because the story just kind of ended on a cliffhanger because they were planning on doing another season and then it got cut off because Lucasfilms got bought out by Disney. So,
is Rebels still going, or did Rebels get canceled?
no, I think it's still going. I think that's in its 4th or 5th season now.
Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, are we gonna do these in chronological order or release date order?
I say we do chronological order.
Chronologically, good, because that'll fuck with my brain less.
So we'll do chronological order, and we will do we're doing the spin-off movies too, right? Rogue One.
We're doing all the
Okay.
live action movies.
10 movies. Let's get on it.
So the first film, boom, Phantom Menace. I have
Oh
props.
shit! You have props. You
I
don't
got
have props for Solo. I know you don't.
No, I don't. Fuck that movie. We'll get to that. Phantom Menace. How do you feel about the Phantom Menace?
Only movie with Liam Neeson in it.
Yeah, the only one.
I'm going to compare these by their trilogies. That's how I'm going to compare these. Comparatively to their other 2 movies in this trilogy, it's not the worst. That's what I want to say.
I mean, it's pretty bad.
Jar Jar Binks. I mean, everybody's said everything you ever can about Jar Jar Binks. He's bad. Yes. He ruins the film. He makes poop jokes. I get it.
Misa gonna poop. And that's it.
Doesn't he step in some shit?
I think so. And he's like, oh, boo, boo, boo,
yeah. But yeah, I don't like how young they made everybody in this movie. I think they should have started out as everybody a little older. Like,
yeah.
Don't make Anakin a 5-year-old.
Anakin didn't need to be a kid.
Yeah.
Or it would have been cooler if Anakin wasn't even in the fucking movie. And
it would have been cooler.
Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. That would have been a little.
That would have been fun.
Second movie, you bring in Anakin.
But I think they should have started with him as a teenager if they were going to put him in this movie at all.
Yeah.
Because, like, they age jump him so much in the second movie anyway. So it's just like,
yeah, and there's a huge chunk of time. In the second one, there's a conversation that Obi-Wan and Anakin have, and they're like, oh, we've been on many adventures. It's like, we didn't get to fucking see that.
Right.
Would have helped.
We just skipped all of that. Ewan McGregor, fucking amazing.
Ewan McGregor is like the saving grace of the entire prequel trilogy.
This is the only one where he doesn't have a beard, and it kind of pisses me off. But
it's weird.
Yeah. What do you think of the plot, though? What even is the plot of the Phantom Menace?
I mean, there's like Trade Federation shit going on, and then there's like pod racing, and then there's like the Gungan City, right? And then there's like, isn't the Gungan City like underwater?
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like Aquaman for like 10 minutes.
There's always a bigger fish.
And then Darth Maul comes in somehow, and Palpatine's doing some shit. It doesn't matter.
Like, I don't really know what the whole premise of this movie was besides just introducing all these characters again.
That's the whole point of the entire trilogy.
Yeah. But like, I understand what's going on, like the third and the second one. I kind of like the Clone Wars. I get it. I guess this is the start of the war. I guess. I don't know.
I guess so.
But
well,
like,
yeah, it is, because it starts with like the trade federations and stuff, and they're like, oh, you've pissed us off and we're going to fuck you up.
I guess so.
Those racist fucking Asian characters.
This is the most racist thing I've ever seen. They're so stereotypical.
So bad.
What do you think of the cast? Natalie Portman, Liam Hemsworth.
I mean, Natalie Portman, I've always been kind of iffy with Natalie Portman anyway. Did you say Liam Hemsworth?
I did. Liam Neeson.
He's not in these movies. Natalie Portman is fine, I guess. She's not really, she didn't do much in the first one. Ewan McGregor's great. He's fucking great and everything. He does a great Alex Guinness impersonation. I wouldn't say it's an impersonation. He does a legitimately good job. Liam Neeson is fine. Qui-Gon kind of sucks, but Liam Neeson's fine in it. And then Jake Lloyd is young Anakin Skywalker, and I feel bad for making fun of him because his life kind of turned to shit after this movie. But fuck him. He was bad at it.
I mean, he was. How old was he when this movie came out?
He was like 9.
I was gonna say he wasn't very old. Kid actors are always scary to use as a main character in your movie.
Yeah,
but like Logan did it well. So
Logan did it because Logan was made by someone who can actually direct and write.
George Lucas directed this, didn't he?
He directed and wrote it, I think, all by himself.
That's scary. But
Yeah, written and directed by George Lucas.
fuck. That's why it wasn't very good. But
yeah,
what do you think? People are very controversial about. What do you think about the pod racing scene? Do you think it's any good, or do you think it's crap?
I think it's fine. I just think it's too long. I mean, it's kind of cool to introduce something like that and give it a little bit more fun and a little bit more kind of action, halfway through the movie or whatever. I just think it's too fucking long. I remember when The Last Jedi came out, I rewatched all these fucking movies in order, and I was like, why is this like it's been like an hour and we're still talking about this fucking pod race shit? Like, Jesus, that's like half the movie.
It is half the movie because that's how they get Anakin off the planet, which is kind of a dumb reason.
Yeah, they still could have did it, just shorten it up.
What about the choreography in this? The fighting? I think the Darth Maul fight scene, the fighting itself isn't very good, but the fucking music, man.
Well, I mean, all the fighting in the prequels look incredible because they're like super highly choreographed and they kind of look like they're dancing a little bit, and it looks great, but it kind of doesn't. It doesn't feel like they're actually fighting. It feels like they're doing choreography or whatever. And that's why I like the original trilogy, because it's just two people clanging swords together. And I'm like, that's more realistic and in a fighting situation that just feels better.
I agree with you. The only one I don't agree with you with is episode 3, though. We'll get into that later, I guess. But the Anakin Kenobi fight, that feels like they're legit trying to kill each other. Or Anakin feels like he's legit trying to kill Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that later.
We'll talk about that when we talk about that.
Yeah, get rid of Jar Jar in this movie for sure. Like,
I don't understand why he was even a character. Like,
the comic relief character, I guess.
Okay, but like, why? Why do we make a comic relief character? You already have C-3PO and R2-D2.
R2-D2 can't speak, and C-3PO was in this movie for like 5 minutes.
Okay, give him a more prominent role, George Lucas.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, unless George Lucas was actually trying to make Jar Jar like a Sith. I
highly fucking doubt that.
No, I mean, he does in the second one. He does give Palpatine, because he becomes a member of the Senate, which is strange, but he does give Palpatine like legislation to like do whatever the fuck he wants. So he is kind of responsible for everything that happens. So he is kind of a bad guy.
He gives him the supreme power because of the war or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's just like, but it's just because he's an idiot.
I get how do you make it into the Senate though if he's a fucking idiot?
Because Princess Amidala or whatever made him she didn't want to be a part of the Senate anymore.
Well, I mean, have you seen the behind the scenes stuff where George Lucas is talking about it? He's like, "Oh, Jar Jar is the key to everything."
Yeah, and I'm like,
I think he had more plans for Jar Jar than everyone was like, "No, fuck you."
Jar Jar was terrible,
and then he was like, "Fine, I'll fucking."
If they did do that, how would you think about this?
I mean, he'd be a better villain than fucking Darth Maul was.
Darth Maul was cool. It's just he didn't speak.
He looks cool.
They make him
a cool looking lightsaber, but he fucking does nothing, and then he gets chopped in half.
In the Clone Wars, they make him amazing.
We're not the Clone Wars.
I know. Okay, if we're just talking about the movie, yes, he's stupid, but Clone Wars is canon, so I mean.
But we're talking about this movie, which was the first introduction.
He did what? How many lines does he even have in this movie? Like
one.
Two.
He says like one thing. He's like, "Oh, I'm red and I'm angry," and then the other one is like, "I'm gonna fuck you up," and that's it. And then he gets cut in half.
Yeah, and falls down a well.
Yeah, and instead of, I don't know, stabbing your lightsaber down on fucking Obi-Wan as he's dangling off the cliff, he just fucking does this and just creates sparks and shit. And I'm like, you're an idiot. I'm glad you're dead.
You should have just javelin through his,
or I don't know, force push him down,
or that too. Or force him up and then chop his head off or something.
You're a fucking idiot, Darth Maul.
Maybe he wanted to die. Maybe he hated his life.
I mean, maybe. He is a red demon man.
He was like, okay, I'll kill Qui-Gon so I seem like a badass, but I'll let this guy kill me just because I want to die.
I mean,
Qui-Gon went out like
I could kill Qui-Gon Jinn.
I was going to say, Qui-Gon went out like a bitch. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Qui-Gon's a fucking bitch.
You just get stabbed in the chest so easily. It was like so nonchalant. Dead.
Yeah.
Gone.
And it's an emotional moment because Ewan McGregor sells it. But if he didn't have that like gut wrenching scream in it, it would just be like, all right, fuck you.
What do you think about the music though? How do you feel about
it? Dude, the music's great. John Williams is an amazing composer.
John Williams always knocks it out of the park.
The music in the prequels is fucking fantastic, and it sucks that the rest of the films fucking suck because the music is so good.
I love the Darth Maul. I forget what it's called.
Duel of Fates.
The Duel of Fates.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so good. I could just listen to that and it's just so intense.
That's fucking iconic, dude.
I know. So good. What about? Do you think Yoda is overused in this?
I fucking hate what the prequels did to Yoda. I fucking hate it. They made him. Not only did they make him like a CG like demon, but they made him all like flippity dippity and like blah blah blah. The first one he doesn't really do that, but then in the second and the third one he's all like flippity dippity and whatever. And I'm like, Yoda doesn't fucking. The whole point of Yoda was that he didn't need to do any of that stuff. That's how fucking powerful Yoda was.
Like in the original George Lucas. The original cut of the Phantom Menace, he was a puppet. Remember? Do you remember this?
Yeah, he was on the DVD. He's a puppet, I think.
He looked horrifying as the puppet because it looked nothing like Yoda. They try to like de-age him, I guess, and it just looked horrifying.
And Yaddle was also a puppet. He looked strange.
Yeah, I think they went back and remastered it and made him.
Yeah,
CG.
On the Blu-rays and stuff, he's CG.
Yeah, which it looks better than that puppet. That puppet's terrifying.
That puppet was terrifying.
It looks like a gremlin on crack.
That's pretty much what it was.
Overall, though, I give this movie like a D. A D. It's a definite D.
That's fair. This movie sucks.
It does suck. I think everybody's in agreement with that.
And it's also really boring. Like, I was surprised at how boring it is.
How long is
I
it?
will say, a pro of the movie, though, it does feel like Star Wars. It has that kind of like great, like it almost kind of feels like a space western in a lot of ways. Like it does feel like the original trilogy, whereas as we start talking about like 2 and 3, they don't feel like Star Wars movies at all. This at least has the feel and the tone of Star Wars, but it's just so fucking boring.
There's just so much politic talk that I'm like, this is not Star Wars though. Stop talking about politics. You can talk about politics a little, because the original trilogy talked about it a little. Like, oh, you're on a way to Coruscant with the whatever, but it's like,
I mean, like a tiny bit. That's not what the original trilogy was about, though.
The whole prequel trilogy is about politics, and I'm like, this is not what Star Wars is about.
Yeah, it was George Lucas trying to like put social commentary into Star Wars, but he's not a talented enough writer to do that, and so he's just like, politics. All right, whatever. And I think it's this movie. It could be. I think it might be 3, but there's like little ETs off in like the Senate thing over there, which makes ET part of the Star Wars universe.
That's stupid. Anyway.
Well, in E.T., he notices a kid in a Yoda costume, which is strange that they have Yoda costumes, and he like recognizes him. So I mean, it is canon.
Is Yoda that recognizable?
I mean, how many fucking green little alien men?
There's probably a whole planet of Yoda somewhere.
I mean, apparently Earth knows who the fuck Yoda is.
I guess. That's odd. That's an odd
strange.
Thing. So weird.
But whatever. Next, Star Wars Episode 2. Attack of the Clones. One of the worst films ever made, in my opinion. This movie sucks.
It's so bad. I'm going to tell you right now, it's an F. It's an F for me. It's so bad. Awful. Famous Hayden Christensen arrives to Star Wars finally.
Yeah.
What do you think about his?
So bad for Hayden Christensen.
What do you feel about his performance? Not as Hayden Christensen in this movie. What do you think about it? Because I know you give him some props. You're like, okay, he's good in this stuff, but I'm like,
he's been good in other stuff. He's been when he has a director that knows how to direct actors.
I don't care about that. What is it? How is he in this movie?
But he's fucking terrible in Episode 2. He's fucking awful. He's terrible.
I hate sand. It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere. Like,
I mean, you gave more emotion right now than what he does in that movie.
I don't, like, what kind of who said? First of all, who says something like that?
I mean, well, that's George Lucas writing. That's not really Hayden Christensen's fault.
And then there's supposed to be a romance plot in this movie that is awful.
It's so dumb and stupid. It's like half the film.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god. And then there's the whole Boba Fett shit, which is
Jango Fett.
Boba Fett's in it though.
Yeah, but he's a dumb little kid.
Exactly. That's why he's fucking stupid. And we're gonna make and I remember we had fucking arguments about this. All of the fucking stormtroopers are just Jango Fett. Are you kidding me?
They're not.
The
stormtroopers are not.
They fucking are.
This is canon. It's confirmed in Rebels.
I don't care what Rebels say. No, because in Clone Wars they're all fucking Jango Fett.
Yes, in Clone Wars they are. But whenever it gets older in time, all those clones have died. They're old and dead. And
then they start like Rex still around or whatever.
Yeah, and Rebels.
So he's fucking still a stormtrooper.
He's not a stormtrooper though. He's a rogue officer.
Whatever.
Anyways, they start recruiting people like a normal military would, and that's why like Finn and stuff, and they're not.
Well, yeah, that's 30 years out.
But also the stormtroopers aren't, because they're all not the same height and shit like that. The clones would all be the same height.
Yeah, I mean, he made a little midget boy clone. You could make him
not make a little midget boy clone. It was just
Boba
a baby.
Fett.
It was just a baby clone that hadn't grown up yet.
Making baby clones. Maybe they're growing. I don't know.
In the prequel trilogy, all the clones are the same.
Yeah, and they're all CG, which is strange. Like all of them.
Yeah, even in like wide shots to where you could just get people in suits, like it's just all CG.
Get one guy, put him in a fucking suit, and then just like duplicate him. That's not hard to do. I could do that in fucking After Effects.
Just get like 10 people, so it looks like mildly okay.
That's what they did in the original trilogy. But
I know.
I gotta use CG because that's modern stuff.
It looks off terrible. Because I was gonna say, when did this movie come out? Like 2001 or something?
I think this came out like 2002. Yeah, 2002.
Yeah, and the effects for 2002 don't look good. Even for 2002 standards, they don't look good.
And I haven't seen the Blu-ray because I have the fucking DVD, because I refuse to buy the Blu-rays for any of these fucking movies. But it probably looks better on the Blu-rays, I guess. I don't know. It looks terrible on the fucking DVDs.
I remember, I can picture it in my head. It just looks too slick. Like everything looks too slick, and that's the issue with it.
That's my main problem with most CG, is that it just looks too like clean and perfect. And Star Wars, I think, needs a little bit of that grit, that like dirty, like gritty feel to it. And this does not have that. It's all green screen, it's all CG, and it looks fucking. It's like, and it's 142 minutes. That's too fucking long
for the 2 hours, 2 hours 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's too fucking long. Make it like an hour and a half.
What do you think about the villain in this, Count Dooku?
Count Dooku. I hate how every movie has a different villain. That sucks.
Yeah, that does.
Count Dooku sucks.
You think so? I think he
doesn't like do anything. He shows up and he's like, "Oh, I'm Count Dooku," and he's got a
way more interesting than Darth Maul.
I guess, but like again, he does nothing. He shows up. He's got another character with a cool looking lightsaber that ultimately doesn't do anything. Why is his lightsaber crooked?
I don't know. Because he dropped it and it bent. I don't know.
It just looks cool. That's it.
What if his lightsaber was a hook because of the curve?
I mean, that'd be cool, but again, it's just cool shit for the sake of cool shit. And I'm just like, all right, that would look cool, but like, why?
I don't know. I like his. They kind of get into his background a little. He used to be a Jedi, and he turned bad.
Yeah, there's like one line where he's like, "I used to be a Jedi," and blah.
And it's implied that either him or Darth Sidious are the ones who made the clones, and it's like, okay, I see where you're going here.
Yeah,
they're the ones who put the order in to make the clones, because they're like,
old 66. That's not that order, but it's a different order.
What do you mean?
I'm just making a reference to it. Order 66 was not to make the clones. I was just making a reference.
I thought you were talking about the order to kill everybody.
No, I was just doing an impression of the Emperor.
And then nothing happens in this movie until the end with the Colosseum fight.
Big battle, which is in like conceptually, that's a cool idea, but in the movie, it's just a big blur of nonsense. It's noise.
It's a bunch of people with lightsabers just fighting droids.
Yeah, and going back and rewatching this, Kit Fisto was my boy. You know how much I grew up fucking loving Kit Fisto. He was my fucking boy. I had a Kit Fisto action figure. Fucking loved Kit Fisto. I went back and rewatched this fucking movie. Kit Fisto is fucking terrifying.
he actually has a real suit. Like he's a
real dude, but that looks so scary because he's got like these like giant black eyes, and he does this. I know, but he does this. He like kills a droid, and then he looks straight at the camera and like smiles, all weird. And I'm like, ugh, like so terrifying looking. I don't remember him being that scary.
He's really dope in the show. So
he is, but in the movie, he does one thing.
Two things. He does something in episode 3,
and then he fucking dies in episode 3.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool.
What do you think of Sam Jackson's? I know he was in the first one, but he's in this one a lot more than he's in the first one.
I mean, he's really boring as Mace Windu. Like, I know Mace Windu is iconic and everything, and I grew up with him as Mace Windu and everything, but like, he's so fucking boring.
He does it like for Sam Jackson. He's very mild.
Yeah,
in everything he does.
And I hate that George Lucas gave him a purple lightsaber. I know it's cool looking. Again, another just cool looking thing. But it goes against like already like previously established lore where like the blue and green like meant something, and now it's purple because Sam Jackson wanted one, and I'm like, all right.
They went back and tried to retcon that by saying the purple is for the most skilled fighter or something like that.
Yeah, but when George Lucas didn't fucking think of that, he just did
No.
it. Oh, looks cool. Wow.
He did it, and then he thought of a reason for it afterwards. That's what happened.
I'm like, that's not how you tell a fucking story, George.
I think it was green is a more powerful force user, while blue is a more powerful fighter, or something like that.
I think so. I don't know exactly what they mean, but I know they both meant something originally.
Well, there's also, if you're counting the TV show, there's also black and yellow and
fuck all that
there's
stupid
a lot of
shit. There's blue and green, and red. Fuck everything else.
Like I said, this movie's an F for me. I hate the romance. I hate the CG. I hate everything up till the Coliseum fight. I don't even like the Coliseum fight that much. And then the very end fight with Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Count Dooku, that's stupid and insane also.
Yeah.
Because Yoda just kicks Dooku's ass, basically.
He does.
That's it.
A little short Yoda.
He's Superman. He comes in and he just comes in and just beats the shit out of him.
And it sucks that like Christopher Lee was Count Dooku, because Christopher Lee's fucking great. He was in Lord of the Rings. He was fucking Dracula. He was fucking like he's motherfucking Christopher Lee. But they gave him a shit character in this movie. Count Dooku sucks.
I really feel like if he would have been the villain in the third one, he may have been better, but they just axed him off.
I mean, it would have been better just in the sense that like, oh, we know this character, and we could have had a little bit more emotional connection to him just from knowing him. But he shows up in the third one, which we'll talk about here in a second. And just it doesn't matter. And I hate what they did with Boba Fett.
When they you mean wait?
They made him a clone. He's just a clone of Jango Fett. He's the same fucking thing as Jango Fett.
Why does that bother you so much? I don't matter
because
to me.
I don't like when it's just like, oh, he's just the same thing. He's literally the same. He's just another Jango Fett. And it's like, I know when they were talking about doing all the like the new spin-off movies and stuff, they were going to do a Boba Fett movie, and there was like a leaked, I guess, premise or idea where it was like, oh, maybe that Boba Fett that was from the prequels died, and somebody like took his identity and stuff. And I'm like, that's actually kind of a cool story, but in canon as of right now, it's not who
true.
He is. And it's just part of what made Boba Fett cool was mystery. This is what people don't really understand about movies anymore, is that mystery is far more important, and it can make a character far cooler than if you just explain everything about them. That's why Solo doesn't fucking work.
Which we'll get into that later.
Sure will.
But like he barely shows up in the original trilogy.
Yeah, he's got like 4 lines through the whole trilogy. But that's why people gravitate towards him, because he looked really fucking cool, and it was like, fuck, I want to know about that guy. And then we know more about him now, and then he fucking sucks, and they ruined him.
He shows up in 5 for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he shows up in 6 in the Jabba place, and then he dies. So I guess that's his whole thing.
Yeah.
Which he's barely in the prequels too, so there's not. But they explain more about his backstory, which is what ruins it.
Which is what ruins it. And I just hate that they like, cool, he's a clone. All right, we didn't need that. We didn't need to know that.
It irks you so much, doesn't it?
It does.
I don't think it bothers me as much.
And he takes the exact same armor and the ship that his dad had. Like, really? Form your own fucking identity, Boba Fett.
I don't know.
What's that planet that Obi-Wan goes to with all the long neck aliens?
Camino.
That's such a weird scene in that movie.
It's an ocean planet.
It is.
And the CG looks terrible.
It looks fucking bizarre.
Because the whole place is CG.
And again, everything is too clean. Everything is too...
I know. Everything is CG except for Ewan McGregor, and he just stands out because he is a real person in a CG place.
Yeah, and there's that weird scene. There's that like weird chase, that like car chase scene in the middle of the movie.
In space?
Yeah, where like Anakin or I think Obi-Wan like jumps out and he does this like action movie like fucking dive into another car. And I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Oh yeah, that was the very beginning.
Yeah.
Anakin jumped out, not Obi-Wan.
Anakin jumped out, yeah.
Which that was supposed to be a good action scene, which that wasn't.
Fuck. No, Star Wars isn't about action.
I know it's not, but that was supposed to be a good action
originally, but it is now, I guess.
It was supposed to be a good action scene, but it wasn't.
Fuck you, George Lucas.
I don't know. This movie's bad. I'm just telling
It's very bad.
Saying it now. It's bad.
Next film. Star Wars Episode 3.
It's a main movie.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
How do you feel about this film?
Actually, it's not as bad as everybody says it is.
It's not bad, but it's not good.
No, it's not good either.
It has
It's
a lot
got-
of like I like how the movie opens. I like that like one shot like Anakin and Obi-Wan like flying through space, and I like that whole scene where they do end up on that like Grievous's ship or whatever. That kind of feels like a fun Star Wars like action adventure like buddy stuff. And there are some good moments throughout the movie, but overall it's just like this is not very good.
Yeah, overall, there's a lot of action in this.
There's a lot.
There's the beginning, and then there's Obi-Wan and General Grievous, and then there's Yoda in the war and all that, and then Yoda fights Sidious, and then Kenobi fights Anakin. There's a lot of action.
There's a lot of it, yeah.
The beginning, I will agree with you. The beginning's great. I love the beginning because it feels like a Star Wars movie, and then I don't like how they just killed Dooku. Like first, like if you're gonna do that, just don't have Dooku show up. Just make him like, oh, he ran away.
Yeah, they just fucking iced him.
Like it's just like, oh, do it, chop his head off, boom,
Do it.
I forgot to talk about what's his face, who plays Sidious. What's his name?
Fuck. What's the actor's name?
Ian something.
Ian McDermott.
McDermott. He's fucking great.
He's great as Sidious. He's fantastic.
He just goes all out, balls to the wall, over top, and I'm like, this is awesome.
And Sidious is a great character.
He is. Do you think they overused his backstory in this, or do you think they were?
I mean, part of what made the Emperor fun in like Return of the Jedi was that you kind of didn't really know anything about him, but you could tell that he just loved being evil, and he loved everything that was going on, and he also didn't really seem like he gave a fuck whether he died or not. He was just kind of there for the ride, and that's kind of what made him so interesting. His backstory is kind of like, I like how in Phantom Menace he's kind of like a good guy, or he's like pretending to be a good guy and everything, but he's really like doing some like secret shit behind the scenes and stuff. I like that, but it's just we didn't need to see him become the weird, like when he gets the weird like butt face thing. We didn't need to see him become that. That was stupid.
The wrinkly butt face.
Yeah, he becomes like a lizard, and apparently that's like George Lucas was like, oh, that's his like true form coming out, and I'm like, what? How the hell does that make sense?
He makes Mace Windu go out a window.
He does.
Which Mace Windu should have just killed his ass. First of all, Mace Windu had him.
Yeah, but then like Anakin fucking cuts that off or some shit. He's got to have a whole speech where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you into the fucking Senate," and then Anakin's like, "No, fuck you," and then he
chops
kicks
his
him out
hand
the window.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if Mace Windu is the best fighter, that means Sidious is a little bitch.
He's not the best fighter though, because he got his ass beaten.
No, Mace Windu won that fight. He just wasn't expecting Anakin to chop his hand off.
I guess he won that fight. That's a Batman vs Superman argument right there. I guess.
I mean, Yoda didn't beat Sidious. So.
He didn't win the fight because he didn't kill Sidious. Sidious won.
Yeah. Batman won against Superman.
Superman won. Superman won that fight. You
Batman
fucker.
Back to Star Wars. What else happens in this movie?
Fucking nothing.
What about General Grievous? What do you feel about General Grievous?
General Grievous, I remember as a kid liking General Grievous because it was like, oh man, he's a robot. He's got like 4 arms and lightsabers. It's like, he was a cool toy. But like going back now, like seeing Grievous as like an adult with my adult brain, that's a little bit smarter than my dumb kid brain. Like he's just kind of there, and I'm like, all right, like why?
Shows up to be a villain.
Yeah, and he's coughing for some reason, and I'm like, why? Like it almost felt like George Lucas had this whole backstory and stuff for him that we never saw. And I know I just said like mystery is important, but like, why is he even in this fucking movie?
He's not really a robot because he's got like organs and shit.
Yeah,
so it's
strange.
So I don't know what he is. We probably never know what he is.
I think there was like a book or something that explained what he was. He was just some asshole.
Just some dude.
Some dude
that likes to collect lightsabers, which I think that's a cool premise, to be honest.
I mean, that's a cool idea. They don't really do anything with it other than just like, oh, I got fucking arms.
It's a cool idea. And I remember when he got his 4 arms and seeing that, I was like, this is dope.
That was a cool scene because I think episode 3 was the first Star Wars movie that I saw in the theater. And seeing Star Wars on the big screen for the first time was really fucking cool. Even though I knew everything about this movie going in because fucking Lego Star Wars fucking ruined the whole movie. It had the whole fucking movie planned out, and the video game, the episode 3 video game had actual scenes from the movie in the fucking game, and I was like, all right, but it was still cool seeing Star Wars on the big screen.
I cannot say that that was my first Star Wars experience. Episode 7 was actually my first theater. Star Wars
You didn't see episode 3 in theaters?
I didn't see any of them in theaters.
You fucking poser.
I was too young, and my dad didn't go see them in theaters. He waited until they came out in disc, so we never went.
That's fair.
I was a young boy.
We're the same age.
I still love Star Wars.
I think episode 3 is like one of the most disappointing films ever, because it's like it could have been. This whole trilogy could have been amazing, because but episode 3 specifically is like, you're gonna see how Anakin becomes fucking Darth Vader. Like, that's fucking cool, man. But then he just kind of just becomes him.
Well, and then like Anakin himself doesn't really change. He's kind of always just a smirk asshole throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, he's just a whiny little bitch.
And then he just is like, okay, now I'm gonna choke out my wife, and now I'm Darth Vader. It's like that's the whole thing.
And he gets his name. I remember George Lucas, before the movie came out, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna learn how he becomes Darth Vader and where he gets the name Darth Vader." And then in the movie, he just, "Oh, you will now be called Darth Vader." And it's like, why?
Because in German, doesn't that mean bad father or something father?
Does German exist in Star Wars? Is that a language that exists?
In German, Vader means father.
But does German as a language exist in the Star Wars universe?
No.
So what does that mean in the Star Wars language?
I don't know.
Exactly. It doesn't mean anything. And I highly doubt George Lucas knew what the fuck that meant when he made it.
It means dark father. I'm sure he knew what it meant.
It means dark father? Well, fucking Sam Jackson should have been called Darth Vader then.
Racist motherfucker.
It's not, he's a dark father. That's what that means.
I give this, I want to say like a C minus, maybe a D plus.
Minus. That's a weird ranking. You gave a lot of the DC movies weird rankings.
No, I did not.
You were like, oh, Batman vs Superman sucks, but I'm gonna give it a C.
A C is not good.
A C is a passing grade, Devin.
C minus is not good. I said C minus D plus.
Still, it's the same thing. It's the passing grade, which, I mean, this isn't terrible.
So
but
it's not good, but it's not bad.
And I do like the Obi-Wan Anakin fight at the end. As long and drawn out and fucking unnecessary as it is kind of cool.
What do you think about the Yoda Darth Sidious fight? The fight we never thought would happen, but it did.
I don't want to talk about that.
What do you think about it?
That's Yoda being a fucking dumb CGI character bouncing around.
He used more Force stuff in that than he did lightsaber, though.
I don't care. Same thing with Sidious. Sidious becomes a fucking cartoon character in this.
I love when he walks into that room with Darth Sidious and he just knocks out those people against the wall. He just like moves.
Like the whole point of Yoda was that it does, like, you never need to see him with his fucking lightsaber. Like, you never need to see him kicking ass. You just know he probably could.
When I watched the original trilogy, I didn't even think he had a lightsaber.
Yeah, nobody did, because the whole point is that he didn't need one at that point. When he's fucking old and retired in the fucking Dagobah system, he doesn't need one.
He's 900 years old.
Million goddamn years old.
You got anything else you want to say about episode 3?
Fuck this whole trilogy. Next. I think Solo's next, right?
Yes,
Solo.
Next.
I don't have the DVD for this because fuck everything about this film.
This is the most recent Star Wars film.
It is.
And it's arguably one of the worst.
It's so bad. And there's so many people out there that love this fucking movie. Like, genuinely love it.
No, this movie's bad.
I'm like, Star Wars fans are the worst. I hate everyone.
They explained way too much in this movie.
Again, mystery is important. I never once questioned, and I know there's a whole trilogy of books, like the Han Solo trilogy that kind of goes into his backstory and whatever. I read one of them. It was fine, whatever. But like, I never once questioned, why is Han Solo called Han Solo? I just assumed that was his fucking name.
I didn't. Same. I thought that was his name. What was his name, you think?
It was just Han.
Like, he didn't have a last name?
It was like Ray. Like, what the hell's Ray's last name? I don't think she has one. I think it's just Ray.
But and then I never questioned where he got a stupid blaster or his jacket.
Because none of that was important.
No, none of it.
Because
It's
we're
just
making
like,
a whole movie. We have to somehow figure out how to tie in the original fucking movies.
it's like, oh, okay, he has a jacket and a gun. Cool. Don't need to explain where it came from.
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, maybe I could understand the Millennium Falcon. That's a bigger
Sure.
item.
That's a
But
ship that they use throughout the movie to do stuff. That's fine.
yeah, that's understandable. I could see where you want to explain where he met Lando. That's kind of a cool premise too, because that's not really explained in the original trilogy, and it could be a good story. But it's just done so badly in this situation.
And like how he met Chewie and stuff, which that was a fun scene, as silly as it was fun.
Stupid. I hated it. I hated it.
And it's like, I'm fine with prequel stuff. For like a Lando movie could have been cool with Donald Glover. Could have been cool because Lando has like 20 minutes of screen time in
Exactly.
all of the original trilogy. He's a character that you can make a solo film about, not fucking Han Solo, because we know enough about Han Solo to like Han Solo in the original trilogy. Like we know he's kind of a gruff, kind of sarcastic asshole smuggler guy, but he's got a heart of gold, and he really does care about stuff, and that's all we really need to know. I don't care fucking that he came from Corellia. He said Corellian once in the original trilogy, and it was never even alluded to that he was from there. But of course, he said Corellia, which means he has to be from there. Fucking, this is like a George Lucas movie that wasn't made by George Lucas.
And then they gave him another girlfriend, which kind of just like ruins this whole.
Well, it makes him grizzled and not trust women and like blah blah blah. And his arc in this fucking movie is terrible.
He doesn't have one.
Exactly.
He's the same asshole from beginning to end.
And he never feels like Han Solo at all in this whole fucking movie.
No, I don't.
He
like.
Kind of feels like Luke in some spots.
How do you feel about the actor playing?
I like Alden Ehrenreich. I've seen him in other stuff. He is a solid actor in the stuff that I've seen him in. He was not a good choice for Han Solo.
No,
at all.
Han Solo has this just persona that is just hard, or Harrison Ford has this persona that's hard to replicate.
He's got like, I don't give a fuck about anything type of persona that only Harrison Ford could pull off.
Harrison Ford is a very hard person to replicate. That's why. Yeah. But like Indiana Jones is different because he doesn't act like he acts differently in Indiana Jones, which I feel like somebody else could be Indiana Jones. But Han Solo is his own.
Well, Indiana Jones to me always kind of felt like James Bond, where it's kind of just like a kind of a mythic character where anybody could play him, and it's just like a different version of just like another story about Indiana Jones. Han Solo is an actual like character that has like because Indiana Jones isn't a character. Those movies are not about Indiana Jones. He's just there to lead us on this adventure. The original Star Wars movies, he's a core part of those movies. He is a character. He has, character traits, and he has an arc and stuff like that. So having another person play him outside of Harrison Ford is very strange. But there were people they could have cast. Ansel Elgort has that kind of like, he's got that kind of deep voice that Harrison Ford kind of has, and he has that kind of like, I don't give a fuck attitude. He could have been great. Anthony Gruber, who played a young Harrison Ford in another film, who looks and sounds exactly like a young Harrison Ford, could have played him, and apparently he auditioned. But they were like, no, let's go with this chuckle fuck over here.
Who apparently needed an acting coach on set. I remember hearing about that.
I heard about. There was a lot of stuff that came.
And I heard this movie was basically rewrote from the beginning. Like,
they've reshot like 60% of the film.
Because I remember it wasn't the guys who made 2122 Jump Street doing this.
Yeah, they were, and apparently their version was compared to like Ace Ventura or whatever. It was like super goofy and like self-aware and all that stuff. And I'm like, that sounds more interesting than what we got. I don't know if I would totally be into that, but at least it has some kind of like differentiating style to it, at least, than this boring fucking. The cinematography in this movie is fucking terrible as well. Everything's dark and gray and muddy.
Yeah, there's no like, there's no scene I can picture in my head like that's a dope looking shot. Like there's nothing in there. There's that stupid train heist in the middle of the movie.
Why are there trains in Star Wars?
I don't know.
They got you got spaceships.
Like how you got so close to your spaceships.
Got fucking spaceships. You don't need trains.
They're like floating trains, though.
I know they're trying to make it like a Western or whatever, but fuck you. They got ships. That's just like a logical. Like whoever wrote that is an idiot.
And then there's the monkey dude. I don't remember his name.
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau.
That was Jon Favreau. Yeah.
I don't remember
Which is
his name.
strange, but I don't remember the monkey's name either. The 4-armed monkey man.
Yeah, he died. The girlfriend died. Not
Yeah.
but
Woody Harrelson's wife or
Woody
whatever.
What about Woody Harrelson? What do you feel about him?
Woody Harrelson was all right. I don't think he was as like I like Woody Harrelson when he's fucking like out of his mind.
Oh
just,
yeah,
like, being
he was
himself.
kind of tame in this movie.
He was very like tame, and he honestly kind of felt like he didn't want to be there half the time. There was one moment where he was like shooting the things. He goes, "Oh, my thumbs!" That was really funny, and that felt like a Woody Harrelson type thing. But the rest of the movie, he's just like a boring, stoic asshole the whole time, and I'm like, all right.
What about Paul Bettany? He's the villain.
Paul Bettany was great. I love Paul Bettany in this, but he's only in like 2 scenes.
He's got that weird veiny shit on his face too.
Yeah, they had to make him look space Star Warsy or whatever.
Yeah. And then Emily Clark is the girlfriend, right?
Yeah, and she's not a great actress. I've seen her in. I haven't seen Game of Thrones because fuck TV, but I've seen her like she was in Terminator Genesis, and she's been in some other fucking bullshit movies. She's not a great actress. I don't know why she keeps getting cast and stuff. Probably just because of Game of Thrones. But she was fine, I guess.
She didn't. I don't feel like she needed to be in this movie. Like the character didn't.
Not at all. I don't understand why she was there in the first place. If you're not going to show like their backstory, like how maybe the story could have been about how they met and like how they became a thing, they didn't show any of that. The movie starts with them like on the run, and then it cuts to like a year later, and they're like broken up and like in different places. And it's like, okay, like I don't get a sense of this relationship at all. Like, are they a thing? Are they friends? Do they still like each other? Like, I don't fucking know anything.
And then I forgot they make Han in the Imperial Army, which
that's in the books. That was in the. He was like originally he was part of the Imperial Army, and then he was like, fuck this, and then left. Okay.
But
so they took that from the books.
I always just thought he was just some sort of rebel dude.
Yeah, I kind of like Han Solo, sort of. I equate Han Solo to like Matthew McConaughey, where he's just living. He's just like, hey, I'm doing whatever. Like, I don't care.
I don't know.
Doing whatever. It's going with the flow.
You said you liked the Han and Chewie thing. I didn't like that. I thought it was.
I liked the scene just because it was a reference to Return of the Jedi when they kind of like reunite, and he kind of came out of the shadow and you were like, oh, it's Chewie. Like, whoa, that's fun. And it was a fun kind of action scene that kind of ultimately led to their relationship that built out later. It was a neat scene. I hated when he spoke Wookiee.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
No. Because he never speaks Wookiee throughout the entire thing.
No, and he can understand him anyway. So it's like,
he can understand English. So.
Like, I understand the point of that. He's trying to prove to Chewie that, like, oh, I understand, but he can clearly understand you because he's acknowledging the things you say and talking to you in his normal language. So it's like, all right, how does he know how to speak Wookiee? I don't fucking know. That's the one thing they didn't fucking explain. He just knows how to do it, I guess.
I don't know. This movie's bad.
This movie sucks. Fuck you, Ron Howard.
Last but not least, what do you think about the very end with Emily Clark and Darth Maul?
Fucking.
Do you even remember that? You remember that?
I totally forgot about that because I haven't seen this movie since the theater. Fuck everything about this. That Darth Maul cameo is like one of the most forced fucking cameos I've ever seen in any film ever. It serves no purpose. It's setting up for something that we're probably never gonna see. It's setting up for like Rebels. So it's like if you don't watch Rebels, that cameo means fucking nothing to you. And I know people were like, "Oh, well, maybe he'll show up in the Obi-Wan movie." But even if he showed up in that movie, they would have to reunite again in Rebels. So it's ultimately setting up what happens in Rebels, which is his fucking comeback. So the whole fucking thing is just fucking pointless. It was cool that they brought something back from like the prequels, that they're acknowledging the prequels and are just totally ignoring the prequels. But it's just like, why? You know? And he pulls out his red lightsaber just to have a lightsaber in the fucking movie.
Yeah, that was forced. That was
why is his lightsaber red, but everything else is blue?
I don't know. Why did he have to pull out his lightsaber anyways? He's not even in the fucking room. He's somewhere else.
They have to put a lightsaber in every goddamn Star Wars film.
There's a lightsaber in every movie.
Every single fucking one.
The one in Rogue One is dope, but
it makes sense in Rogue One because he's actually doing something with it. He's not just like, hey, fucking look how scary I am with this thing. I'm like, go fuck yourself, Darth Maul. You've never been scary.
This movie is definitely probably an F again for me. I hated it.
Sucks. I hate it.
I hated it. This is what started Star Wars' downfall. This is what made Disney go, maybe we should pull back on the Star Wars shit a little bit.
Yeah, because it bombed.
It didn't make anywhere near the amount of Rogue One did.
No.
And because I would compare it to Rogue One, not an episode movie, because episode movies are obviously going to make more money. But Rogue One almost made what, like
$1 billion too, didn't it?
I think it made like 900 million or something like that. So
it made a fuck ton.
This only made like 600 or something, or 500 million.
I mean, everyone was kind of interested in Rogue One because at least that's some kind of interesting idea. Nobody on the face of the fucking planet wanted to see a young Han Solo film. I think everyone collectively went, "That's fucking dumb," and just didn't see it. I think that's the only time everyone in the whole world was just like, "Fuck everything about that. That's retarded."
Why would you do this? Why would you do this?
Because like my mom, when I told my mom, I was like, "I'm gonna go see like Solo," she's like, "They made a fucking Han Solo movie," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, they did."
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It's fucking dumb.
Let's move on to Rogue One.
Next, we have Star Wars Rogue One, not the only Star Wars movie I have on Blu-ray, but one of them. I think this movie's fine. I remember loving it when I first saw it, but after a couple rewatches, it's fine. It's not perfect, but it's fine, I guess.
I like it. I don't think it's great, but I like it.
A lot of people say it's like the best Star Wars film, and I'm like, all right, chill out.
Fuck that. No. But for what it is, it's not bad at all.
I think it's fine. It has some good moments. I like the last like 30 minutes when it's just like fighting and like gritty, like dying. Private Ryan in fucking Star Wars. Like, hell yeah. But a lot of the characters are really bad. Like Jen Erso is fucking awful, and we know nothing about her throughout the entire fucking movie.
K2 is the best character.
K2 is a lot of fun.
He's awesome.
He's got that weird modern humor that they've started adding in these fucking Star Wars movies that I'm not a huge fan of, but he's fun.
And then I like the I don't know his name, but the blind dude, I like him. He's dope.
The Sharut Imwe and fucking Baze Malthus, the blind ninja guy and his like big dumb like gun-toting friend, they should have been the main characters because their chemistry with each other was so fucking fun, and they seem like interesting characters. Why did we have to have Jen Erso because she's a female? Cool.
And what's the dude's name? He is boring as shit.
Oh, Cassian.
Yeah, he's so boring.
And apparently he's getting a fucking Disney Plus show.
I know. He was so boring character. I didn't care. Whenever time he spoke, I was just like, I don't care anything.
He's such a fucking bad character. And Diego Luna, the actor that plays him, I've seen him in other stuff. He's not a good actor. I don't understand why he keeps getting work and stuff.
He wasn't very good in this either. So
he always talks like this, and he never raises his voice, and he always just. And I'm like, fucking speak up! I can't hear you.
I mean, they're limited by their story here because they have to follow a certain story that the original movies have already created for them.
Yeah.
For what they did, though, I think it worked. I guess because it like. The whole thing was like, why is there this hole in the Death Star that can just blow up the entire thing? And they kind of explained it as this scientist dude who made the Death Star put a failsafe in it.
I mean, I think it's kind of silly that we have to make an entire movie to retcon this small little thing in the original movie. Because I remember watching Star Wars, I never in a million years cared why there was a big hole in the fucking. It's a space fantasy movie about fucking guys with laser swords that have magical powers. Like it's a fucking giant space moon thing that can destroy planets. Like I don't care. It's a fucking movie. Like who gives a shit? But I think if we are going to make a story explaining that, I think it's fine. Like I think it's a fine film.
What do you think about the villain? I forget his name too.
Fucking Krennic.
Yeah.
Played by Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
He's I don't really like him. He's a little over the top.
He is.
He's fucking screaming constantly. Everyone says Kylo Ren's a fucking screaming crybaby. Fucking Krennic, the whole movie's just like, I made this. This is mine.
This is mine. He's like a little kid. He's like, this is mine. You can't take it.
You're a grown ass man, Krennic. Grow the fuck up.
I forgot. We got to talk about the CGI faces.
Oh Jesus, no.
We got to talk about it. What do you think? I don't think. What's
Tarkin?
Tarkin. What's the actor's name?
Fuck. What is his name?
I can't remember.
I'm gonna look it up.
But I don't think his is as bad as people say it is.
It's pretty bad though.
His lips look a little weird. But like overall though, he doesn't look that bad. Comparatively to other CGI faces I've seen, he doesn't look that bad.
Oh, it's Alan Cushing.
Alan Cushing. Yeah.
I mean, there was one moment when they first introduced him in Rogue One where it's like you only see his reflection, and I'm like, that's a cool, clever way of like getting around the CG and not in the actor being dead and stuff. But then he's in the rest of the movie, and you just see his fucking face, and I'm like, no, you could have just had him. You could have left him hidden a little bit. Like he didn't need to be in the whole fucking movie anyway. But like you could have just left him hidden a little bit because the CG is not very good.
When he speaks, it looks weird.
It's very distracting.
But when he's just sitting there not speaking, it looks okay. It looks
fine, I guess, but it's just didn't need to.
I think it's because when he speaks, like he has the actor, he has distinct wrinkles in his face that you can see, and you can tell something's just a little off whenever he does it in the CG.
Yeah, he doesn't talk like a human.
No,
like he doesn't have his face doesn't because he's not a fucking human because he's a CG man.
But like when he's just sitting there, he looks fine because apparently they use digital scans from the original movie. That's how they got the mold, I guess, for the CG. And that's why it looks really good when he's just sitting there. But when he starts speaking, they don't have the digital scan for that. So they kind of
looks like a deep fake sometimes when he starts talking.
I don't know who they got to play him in Rogue One.
I think it's just some actor. I don't know the actor.
Somebody else's voice, or they use his voice, and it's kind of.
I don't know. They that's a good question. I don't know. They could use just like
his voice sounds dead on. If it is somebody else's,
they probably just got someone who sounded like him.
They may have tweaked it a little too. And
they could have. Disney has all the money in the world; they can do anything.
And then, fucking Darth Vader sounds old as shit in this.
Oh my god, fucking James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones is like 90 years old.
No, he sounds so old in this.
But it's like, come on, like you couldn't make him sound like you couldn't have done something to make him not fucking sound that way.
He makes a stupid joke in the middle of the movie too.
That the whole scene, I think, is pointless. I think Darth Vader. The only time we should have saw Darth Vader is in that hallway scene. That's the only time we should have seen Darth Vader.
The only thing I like about that scene, not the hallway scene, the one in the middle of the movie, is it goes back to Mustafar, which I think that's kind of. He's got like a castle in that.
That's neat and it looks cool, but like, why would you go back to the planet that you were horrifically burned and cut up by your best friend at? Like, if we went to like Canada, and you just like cut me in half on a mountain, I would not then build a castle on that mountain. I'd be like, I don't fucking ever want to go back to that place.
I mean, it's a cool shot though, and I like it.
It is. It's a cool shot, and Rogue One is gorgeous.
Yeah, there's so many good shots. Like the end fight, there's a lot of good scenery in there. Like with the walkers and shit in the background, that's kind of menacing, and I like it. And the TIE fighters, the spaceships are getting dope looking. Like just all the space scenes are getting amazing.
Yeah, the space scenes in every Star Wars movie are really cool.
And I like the part where they're using the Death Star, and you can kind of see the planet getting exploded from the Death Star. That's cool. I like that too. That's a good scene. I like that.
Yeah.
Like when they shot the one place, but they didn't shoot it to blow up the planet. They just shot it, and it kind of you can see the ground exploding from the Death Star.
That was fun.
Like, that's dope. I think that one dude is stupid. The black dude. I don't know what his name is in the movie.
Black dude.
One with the face breathing mask. That has
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. No, I don't know his name in the movie, like his character's name. But he's
Saul
dumb.
Guerrero.
Yeah, he's dumb. He's
in like Rebels or some shit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
His whole character is fucking pointless. I'm like, why are you here, Forrest Whitaker?
Just delivers the message. That's all he does.
I'm fucking dying.
He's like super intense, and I'm like, stop it right now.
And then he's got like a CG like octopus that can like erase your memories or some shit.
Yeah, that was weird.
And that whole subplot is pointless as well because the dude immediately remembers everything afterwards.
All the movies in 7, 8, Solo, and Rogue One, they all have a weird CGI monster in it, and it's so bizarre.
I think Disney has a tentacle fetish.
Because in Solo, it's the beginning, the gangster lady. She's like a snake thing or whatever.
Well, I mean, also in Solo, they like when they do the Kessel Run, there's like a giant like space squid that fucking attacks them.
In this, there's the freaking the octopus thing.
And then there's the Rathtars in episode 7. Jesus Christ.
And then in 8, they're at the casino thing. There's those stupid horse things and crap like that. So like they have weird CGI monsters in all their newer movies, and it's strange. Super odd. But let's talk about the hallway scene. That when I saw that in theaters, my heart was just beating so fast.
That scene's great. I know a lot of people, like I've seen a lot of people talk about that scene. It's like, oh, that defeats the point of like what happened in A New Hope, where he kind of just walks in and you get the point and everything, and it does. but
like,
at the same time, that's a cool fucking scene.
I get it because I understand because he knows that disc is it's right in front of him. He could just grab it. So he's going for it. In episode 4, he doesn't really know where it is. So he's kind of just nonchalantly going in there.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean,
that's
I like both. I mean, I like how he just kind of does walk in episode 4 and he's just like, what's up? And he just doesn't care. But at the same time, I like seeing Darth Vader finally be like the scary guy that he was in the original trilogy. And he's just mowing down people. Like, he's doing it like just nonchalant. He's just like, whatever. He's just mowing through all these people like nothing because he's fucking terrifying.
That made me legit afraid of Darth Vader, like a lot more than
it's scary.
Some of the other movies have. It would have been funny if they used Hayden Christensen in that for some reason.
No, go fuck yourself.
It would have been funny, but
no.
Hayden Christensen.
We're never going to see Hayden Christensen in a Star Wars movie ever again.
Oh, but he did wear the Darth Vader suit at the end of 3, so he can say he has played Darth Vader.
Yeah, he did, and you can clearly tell because he doesn't fucking act like Darth Vader.
No, he crosses his arms, which is like so odd. I don't think I've ever wanted to see Darth Vader cross his arms.
I mean, I think he does in the original trilogy, but like,
wait, when does he ever cross his? Like, when does he ever sit there and just go?
Mm-hmm. He's just like, hey, Obi-Wan, go fuck yourself.
No, he doesn't fucking do that.
I don't know. I don't remember if he ever does.
He doesn't. He doesn't. Overall, though, I give this movie like a C+ or a B. Like, it's not bad.
It's fine. I like the whole relationship between Jen and her father. I'm like, you could have fleshed this out a little bit more because when he dies, like, I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I was like, all right, cool, he's dead. I didn't know this guy. Like when we first meet them, they're like running and trying to get all this shit together because the first I'm like, you could have had one like 5 minutes before that of just them being like a father-daughter thing, and then that shit happens, and then like just a little bit more, but we didn't because fuck character development in movies.
And then I hate how they killed everyone at the end. I think they could have kept somebody alive.
No, kill fucking everyone.
Keep what's his face, the pilot dude. He was kind of cool. Keep him alive.
No, kill everyone because then it'll be like, oh, they could still show up in a new movie. Yeah, they'd be old, but they could still show up. Like, I'm glad they killed everyone because now we'll never see them again, and that's good.
I don't.
Most of them were really dumb and bad anyway.
I don't think they should have killed over, but that's just me.
Next up, we have Star Wars.
The
original Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope.
One of the greatest, most classic movies of all time.
Which is one of my favorite films of all time, and is my favorite Star Wars film.
It's not my favorite Star Wars film, but it's one of my favorite films.
I know it's nobody. Everyone's always says Empire, and I'm just like, fuck you. New Hope is so good.
It's the best movie, but we're not talking about that yet. We're talking about Episode 4, which is also a great, fantastic fucking movie.
It is.
Critiquing wise, there's not a lot wrong with it, to be honest.
Are we going to talk about the special editions or the actual like theatrical versions? Because every time I watch it, because thankfully I have the theatrical version in here, I only watch the theatrical cut. Fuck all the special edition bullshit. I mean,
the only difference is the CGI and shit.
Yeah, but that ruins the movie, and it fucking is dumb.
If you want to talk about theatrical, talk about theatrical. But overall, though, what would you say is wrong with it? I can't think of anything that's super wrong with it.
With the movie as a whole?
Yeah. There's not much wrong with it. It's almost a perfect movie.
I mean, it's trimmed out a little bit. It is kind of long, and it has some pacing issues here and there. That's really all I can really say about it.
Like, yeah. Let's talk about the cast though. Mark Hamill, great as Luke
Mark
Sauer.
Hamill. This was like his first big thing.
And I think he knocked it out of the park, to be honest. He's kind of whiny. Great. Kind of whiny in this movie compared to the other two, but
well, see, that's the thing. That's something I'm going to talk about when we get into like Force Awakens and stuff. But like Luke is an interesting character because he starts off as like a whiny little bitch farm boy, and then when you get to Return of the Jedi, he's like a fucking badass. Like that's cool. That's what a fucking character arc is. And even in A New Hope, he does have a little bit of a character arc in that itself. He does grow and change in that movie as well, but throughout the whole trilogy he changes, and that's great. And they don't make movies like that anymore where characters actually struggle and fucking change. They're all whiny bitches that get everything.
He's got to go to Taki Station or whatever.
I gotta go to Taki Station and get some power converters. He kind of sounds like Marty McFly.
He does at the very beginning. He kind of gets a monotoner voice.
Don't call me chicken. That's from Back to the Future.
That is from Back to the Future. I love the beginning is so fucking fun where you're following C-3PO and R2-D2. That's great. That's a great way to start the movie.
Ripped straight from fucking The Hidden Fortress, the movie that inspired George Lucas to make this film. That's like shot for shot, like because that movie starts with two like idiot like samurai guys running through the desert, and they're just like, oh, whatever. It's like almost beat for beat. So it's you could say it's a ripoff, but it's fun. It's a cool homage.
I couldn't tell you that happened, but I really like the beginning of episode 4. It's great.
It is. It's fun.
And Darth Vader is very menacing for being introduced in that movie. He's barely even in episode 4, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, he's not really in it a whole lot.
Yeah, but he's very menacing, especially when he's choking out his fellow officers. And
he's so fucking cool. When that guy's just like, "Yo, fuck your religion," and he just
yeah.
And since he has no emotion on his face, he's just fucking sitting there like that. I'm like, oh man, Darth Vader's so cool. He's so
badass. I still don't understand why Grand Moff Tarkin is like higher ranked than him. Like he listens to Grand Moff Tarkin, but whatever.
I think that's kind of neat. I like that. Because it's like Darth Vader is kind of just the guy who shows up with all the goons, but Tarkin's really the one that's in charge.
I think it's cool. I like it too. I just don't understand why.
Because I feel like it'd be a little too much if you're just like Darth Vader is just the most like he's the most powerful person in the Empire and he's the leader. Like that's a little much.
He is the most powerful person besides the Emperor, but we don't know about the Emperor.
He still listens to Tarkin. If he didn't give a fuck about rules or anything, he would have been like, "Fuck you, Tarkin," and choked him out too. He would have cut his ass in half.
What do you think about Alec Guinness?
Alec Guinness is great. And I know he was like very iffy about doing Star Wars because he was like one of those classic actors that was like, oh, science fiction, fuck all that shit. But he was great as
he came back for every movie in the trilogies.
Yeah, he did.
So fuck him, I guess.
No, don't fuck. He made the right call. He was like, oh, these movies are actually good.
Yeah, and he didn't have to do much anyways. He was in 4, and that was his big thing.
Swinging sword fight.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm gonna critique is that sword fight. Like,
I think that's fine.
It's okay because Alec Guinness is old as shit, but it's just so slow, and it's not.
Well, I mean, the whole point of it isn't like Obi-Wan's not trying to kill Darth Vader. He's not trying to like. He doesn't. So he doesn't need to like do flips and shit. Like he's just trying to distract Darth Vader while they fucking get out and go do their thing. So and it's also like I also feel like there's kind of a little bit of like hesitance between both of them, especially because they were master and apprentice, and so they're not really trying to like kill each other. And Darth Vader kind of doesn't really give a fuck. He's just like whatever. It's like when he fights Luke in Empire, he fights him with one hand. He's just like whatever. Like I love how Darth Vader just doesn't care ever. He's just like fuck you, like whatever. And I think that shows in that fight. That shows part of his character. He's just like whatever.
That, but they should have just made him in a room talking about it. I guess I don't know. The fight didn't seem.
Darth Vader's not much of a talker.
That's what he did during the fight. He sat there and talked to him, and then he killed him.
Die, and then he fucking.
Darth Vader does have some dope lines during that fight. I will admit, like
he will.
When he's like, when I left you, I was a learner. Now I'm the master.
Now I am the master.
Like it's dope. And
badass.
If you watch episode 4 first, before you watch the prequels, that kind of gives you this mystery. Like, oh, okay. Like these people know each other already. Like it's cool.
It did a good job of establishing character that we kind of didn't really need to see. We didn't need 3 movies about, but whatever.
Which is why when I have kids, I'm going to show them the original trilogy first.
I'm just going to show them the original trilogy. Fuck all these other films. The original trilogy is like perfect.
It is. I'll show them 7 and 8 because I like 7 and 8.
We'll get to that.
Because I know that's where our argument's going to be.
I have my thoughts on both of those films.
I know. Overall, though, this is just a good, fun space movie.
Yeah, it's a good, fun, like science fantasy. It's like Lord of the Rings with like space paint over it. There's like the wizards and the magic and like, the
big hairy dog, dude. And you're like, what the
hairy dog, man?
You're like, I don't really know what's going on, but I like it and it's good.
And I think a problem that a lot of the other Star Wars movies have, but movies in general are kind of missing nowadays, is that like Luke is he is a bit of a whiner, but at the same time he's kind of relatable because he's this farm boy who doesn't really know much about his past and stuff like that, but he yearns for adventure. He wants to do something more than just work on this fucking moisture farm with his fucking old ass uncle. He wants to do a little bit more. And then when the opportunity arises, when he finds that message and Ben Kenobi's like, hey, you have to come out. He's like, fuck that. Like, no, I got to stay with my uncle. And then he kind of is forced into it. And I think that's kind of like, that's cool that he wants to do it. But then when it comes, he's kind of like, maybe I'm not right for it. I think that's kind of neat.
I think Luke is one of the perfect protagonists in any movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's got so many things. He's got so much potential in episode 4, and he actually lives up to it in 5 and 6. So yeah, it's pretty good.
And I just noticed this says written and directed by George Lucas. Was the first one not co-written by Lawrence Kasdan?
The first one was just George Lucas.
It was all George. I thought Lawrence Kasdan did all 3 of them.
He came in episode 5. Or maybe it was George. Maybe he didn't come in until 6 or something.
Maybe. That's weird. But this whole movie, I feel like, was an accident because apparently, like, the original cut was like super like slow and was not very good, and then the studio brought someone in to kind of like tool it up. And I think if George Lucas was given like 100% creative control,
it would have been a prequel movie.
It would have been a prequel, and it would have been fucking nonsense.
But have you heard the story about when this movie came out? George Lucas like went on vacation. It was like, I don't want to hear or see anything about this movie because he thought it was gonna bomb.
Oh yeah, everyone thought this was gonna bomb. They were like, this little like sci-fi movie, like fuck you, and then it fucking blew the whole world.
Left the country and was like, I'm staying off of everything news related, like no newspapers, nothing like that. And when he came back, he was super surprised at how well it was doing. That he immediately,
like, I'm gonna make all these movies, and then in 30 years, I'm gonna make 3 shitty prequels.
Well, he said he immediately started working on this sequel, but
I'm sure, yeah. He saw the dollar signs rolling, and he's like, "Fuck, we gotta make 7."
But as a movie, though, this movie works as by itself.
It's the only Star Wars movie that really works on its own.
Yeah, it works fine.
You could say Solo, but Solo doesn't work at all.
Fuck Solo.
But yeah, it's the only Star Wars movie that's a standalone film, and it works
because it was meant to be just that film. That was the other thing.
Next,
the best Star Wars movie ever.
Not fucking Return of the Jedi. Empire Strikes Back.
Oh God, I love this movie. It's so
now
good.
I'm gonna say Empire Strikes Back is better in every way than A New Hope, but New Hope's my favorite. It's a better movie. It's better made and it's better acted. And it's a better film. But A New Hope is my favorite.
That is complete. That's your opinion. That's completely fair. As long as you acknowledge that Episode 5 is better.
Yeah, but that'd be retarded. That's like saying, like, oh, the original Planet of the Apes, like, oh, that's better than the new ones. Like, no, the new ones are better made. But I love the original.
Again, this movie has. I don't know if there's much to critique on it, just because it's another. It's a sequel that shouldn't have worked, but it did. It worked really well.
It's a really cool. It's one of the best sequels ever.
It is because, I mean, episode 6, you kind of go back to your beginnings with another Death Star and shit like that.
Yeah, which is dumb.
Yeah. Episode 5 is just kind of a runaway movie almost. I don't what's the word I'm looking for here, but because like the whole movie is just Han and Leia in the Millennium Falcon getting away from Darth Vader and Luke's training with Yoda. That's like the whole movie. Yeah. But it just
I like how they're split up.
Yeah, it's really good.
Which is what you usually do in sequels. In sequels, you usually try to split up the gang and give them all different stuff to do, which they tried to do in The Last Jedi and it didn't fucking work. But I love how they introduced Lando Calrissian. Billy D. motherfucking Williams. He's one of the coolest black people to ever live.
I was going to say, he's a smooth cat.
So cool.
He's dope as shit.
Well, what do we have here?
Dope as shit.
So cool. And he's got like shoulder cape. So cool.
What do you think of Yoda's introduction in this movie?
I think it's great. I love how Yoda starts off like being like a dumb idiot asshole because he's testing Luke. And Luke's just like, what? This is the fucking guy? Like, what the hell? And then it's a really cool moment when he goes into like Yoda's hut and Yoda immediately just like flips a switch and he's just like, hey, I'm the most powerful Jedi on the planet. And Luke's like, whoa. And it's so cool. I love it.
It is cool. And
it's so like subtle and it's like quiet and it's perfect. And then they show he lifts the fucking X-wing out of the swamp, and it's so fuck. Everything about that scene is perfect.
A great scene. And then we get the famous line, "Do or do not, there is no try." Like it's just
or do not, there is no try.
It's so good. It's so perfect.
My bad Yoda impression. Also, going back to the prequels, I noticed in the original trilogy he only talks in reverse like a couple times, but in the prequels he does it like a lot. Is there like a reason for that?
No, just George Lucas being stupid.
George Lucas was like, "Oh, he talked that way like twice. Let's fucking do it through the whole film."
Well, okay, there's actually a word for how he speaks. Like there's actually it's called something. I don't know what it's called, but it's only like he switches verbs and nouns.
Dyslexia.
Yeah, but he switches them in. It's not dyslexia.
Wait, I was about to say, yeah, Yoda actually has dyslexia.
No, that's reading. That has nothing to do with speech.
He has speech dyslexia.
No, he's a speech impediment. But like he switches verbs and nouns, and that's about it. But in the prequels, he switches like every word.
Yeah, he's like, "I cake ate you."
Yeah, and
like that's not even a sentence, Yoda. What the hell did you just say?
It's really off in the prequels, but
fuck those movies. Anyway, back to Empire.
Where were we at? Oh, the Yoda training. The cave scene confused the shit out of me at first when I was a little kid. I had no idea what the fuck was going on because I was like, first of all, I was like, why is Darth Vader on Dagobah?
Oh,
like,
that weird training thing. That was the whole point. It's like, oh fuck, Darth Vader's there. Then he cuts his head off and it's like, oh, it's Luke. Luke's Darth Vader. But then, no, that's me.
See, as a little kid though, I didn't realize that was Luke. I was like, who the fuck's this guy?
It doesn't really look like his face.
You can't see his hair, and he's got a shit ton of makeup on, so it doesn't really look like him.
Yeah, because he fucking got in that car accident or whatever.
Yeah,
fucked his face up.
It doesn't really look like him. I was like, who the fuck's this? But as I got older, I realized I was like, oh, that's Luke. Yeah. It's like this is supposed to be like a nightmare scene, which is kind of
cool. Lot of Star Wars. I don't think I really understood as a kid. I just liked, and then when I'm an adult and I rewatch this video, I'm like, oh, these movies are fucking like actually really good.
What do you think about the end with Darth Vader Luke fight? What do you think about that?
That fight is so cool. I love that fight. Again, Darth Vader has so much character without emoting. And I love it because in that fight, he knows Luke is just like a fucking untrained idiot who's just going there and just fighting him without any training or knowledge. And he's literally just batting him away with one hand. He's just like, fuck you, whatever. And then he cuts his fucking hand off.
Yeah, I love how he just stands in the corner at one point. He's just with his mind throwing shit at him.
Yeah,
with the force. Yeah, he's not even doing that. He's just sitting there and just.
I bet if you could see his face, he'd have a fucking smirk on his face the whole time. He'd feel like, fuck you.
It's so good. And then at the very end, he actually starts trying. He starts like,
because he's like, oh fuck, this kid's like fucking giving it all.
And he takes Luke down so easily, and it's just it's great. It's great.
And then there's that iconic moment where he's like, no, I am your father.
He doesn't say Luke. That's a very common misconception.
Yeah. Which I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that started from.
I don't know where it did either. It sounds better than no, to be honest. Like it sounds like a better line.
I am your father.
But
I guess so.
That's not what he says. He says, no, I am your father.
He's like, no, motherfucker, I'm your dad.
Which that was one of the best twists in like
I remember as a kid seeing that shit because I was fortunate enough to see the original trilogy before the prequels, and I was like, what? I was like, whoa.
Exactly. That's how I was. I was like, holy shit.
It was so cool.
It was amazing.
There's tons of like reaction videos of kids like watching it nowadays, having that same fucking reaction. I'm like, that's how good this fucking movie is that kids can totally understand what's going on and be like, whoa, holy shit.
Right. They may not understand everything, but they understand the basics.
I understand, yo, I'm your dad, and I'm an evil dictator, man.
Yeah. And that scene was kept in such secret. No one knew about it except for George Lucas, the cameraman, James Earl Jones, and Mark Hamill. Those are the only four people that
fucking Mark Hamill told a story about that on some talk show or whatever. It doesn't surprise me at all. I think it was like a last minute change as well. I think originally that wasn't going to be a thing.
so that people wouldn't know. Because
Oh, is that what happened?
because they had the crew there, and they had the guy in the bodysuit for Darth Vader, and they shot it. Yeah, they shot it differently so that no one would know, so they couldn't spill the secret. But then they went back and reshot it with just Luke to film his reaction, and James Earl Jones had to know because he said the line, obviously.
Yeah.
So those are the only 4 people.
James Earl Jones showed up at the premiere. He's like, "What?
What the fuck? I didn't say that.
Holy shit!"
But yeah, I think that's so dope. Like, I mean, nowadays it's hard to keep secrets for movies like that.
Yeah.
Like in Infinity War and Endgame, they kept it a secret, but like there was a lot of people involved with that, and shit leaked all the time. For
Marvel does a good job of doing it, but not on this scale. Like this was a big fucking reveal.
Yeah, it was insane, and I think it's one of the best twists in modern movie history.
Because I think it's a cool reveal because it's like in the first movie there wasn't really any kind of inkling. Like they obviously mentioned Luke's dad and stuff, Anakin and all that stuff, but there was really no like hint that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker. But it still works if you do that, and I think that's kind of cool because I think if you lay out hints for stuff, it kind of like, oh, okay, like they were building up to that. Which most movies do now because every movie has to be a goddamn trilogy now. You can't just make a movie and then if it does well, add on to it. So I think it works just because it did come out of nowhere and it was like, whoa, holy shit. And there's not really any twists or reveals that we get anymore in films that are like that.
Yeah, and then they kind of try to explain it away in 6 on like why Obi-Wan didn't tell him. It was like, yeah, because like Anakin's your dad, Darth Vader's not your dad type thing. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of how they try to explain.
It's like your dad died when he became Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's how they try to explain, which makes sense.
Which is fucking really cool, actually.
It does. It makes sense. And then what do you think about the very end with Han Solo going in the carbonite thing and all that?
That's a cool fucking scene. It is kind of funny watching it now because someone pointed this out and I can never not see this. But when he goes down, his hands tied, and then when he comes out, he's like this. I'm like, God damn it! I wish somebody didn't say that because now I can't unsee that. That's a fun little continuity error, but it's such a good scene. It's emotional. It has the John Williams score in the background. It's so good.
Didn't they do that though because they didn't know if Harrison Ford would come back for the 6th one?
Yeah, because Lawrence Kasdan and Harrison Ford both wanted Han Solo to die in that movie, and that was his death essentially. We saw him die in that scene, but then it was retconned in Return of the Jedi, and George Lucas brought it back.
Which I think it works in 6. Like it didn't feel forced or anything.
I mean, it would have been cool if they killed him, but it's fine, I guess.
They killed him in 7, so
killed him 30 years later.
All right, you ready for one of your favorites?
You didn't rank this fucking movie.
I didn't rank the last one either. 4 was an A. This was an A+. There you go.
Okay, good. Next, episode 6.
This is where we might start to disagree with a little bit. I know you think this. I was gonna say I know you think this movie's fantastic. I don't think it's as good as you say.
I would say fantastic. It has a lot of problems, but I think it's for a trilogy, like for the end of a trilogy. I think it's better than a lot of like third movies and trilogies. It does have some dumb shit in it that we will talk about, but yeah, specifically the Ewoks. But
the Jar Jar Binks of the original trilogy.
I wouldn't go that bad. They're not annoying. They're just kind of. It's like the Porgs. They're just kind of there, and you're just like, why?
I mean, they do shit that the Porgs don't do. They actually fight. They got spears and shit.
Sure,
throw rocks.
They're only there to sell toys.
Yeah. Let's start from the beginning though. What do you think about the Jabba Hutt scenes and all that?
That scene was amazing. And I heard rumors that the original idea for Return of the Jedi was that it was going to be just that. Like Luke going there and trying to rescue Han Solo and all that stuff. And I'm like, that would actually be a pretty dope fucking movie. If I made a Star Wars movie, it would be that.
Yeah, they gotta kind of wrap up the storylines they had going there.
That's why I would never make a Star Wars film, because I'd be like, fuck all that shit. I'm gonna just make it this one little tiny thing.
Ryan Johnson, do whatever the fuck you want.
I would do it the way Ryan Johnson did it, but I would still respect the fucking series while doing it. I liked the opening with Leia coming in disguised as that fucking bounty hunter. And then she goes down and gets Han Solo, and he comes out and he's like, I'm blind, I can't see.
That was dope. I like that. I like how this kind of opens again with C-3PO and R2-D2 showing. Like it kind of opens the way 4 does.
Yeah,
That pink dude, that dude freaked me out as a little kid.
Oh, the with the tentacle,
Yeah.
Bib Fortuna.
Yeah, he freaked me out because he had like long fingernails and he was like
Yeah,
talking
he's
all
very
weird.
scary looking.
Yeah. And I forgot this movie introduces your favorite character, Max Rebo.
Max Rebo! Of all the solo movies that fucking Disney was planning, we didn't get a single rumor about a Max Rebo film. What the fuck, Disney?
For all of you that don't know who Max Rebo is, he's the fucking blue piano playing alien dude in Jabba's
He's
Palace.
he's the little elephant man.
Yeah,
it's fucking awesome. You
I
ever?
don't know.
They have a book about the Max Rebo band, and I read it in school.
It's not canon, so it doesn't matter.
Fuck. It could be.
Yeah, all the books and shit like that are not canon.
Whatever.
All
I'm
the
gonna
EU,
make it headcanon.
whatever. I don't know why you think Max Rebo is the best character, but
Because he's a cool little elephant man. That plays.
he's a blue elephant.
No, he's like Ray Charles if he was like a blue alien man. That's fucking cool.
Whatever. What do you think about Jabba? Actually, Jabba.
I love, and this is another reason why the special editions fucking ruined Star Wars, is because George Lucas added him into fucking A New Hope, and it's very bad. But they reference him, I think, in both A New Hope and Empire, and we finally see him, and he's just this giant, disgusting slug man. And I'm like, fuck, that's so cool.
That puppet apparently weighs like 500 pounds. Like,
probably, and it looks great. It looks fucking real.
It is real. It's a puppet.
Exactly.
It's a puppet.
Fucking CG like everything is now. If we saw Jabba again, he would be a fucking gross CG slug man.
He was in the prequels as a CG slug.
Was he?
In the pod race scene.
God damn it, that's right. He was like a little baby Jabba. It's like, fuck you, George Lucas.
What a cool concept for a character. I don't think I would ever come up with something like that in my head.
Yeah, I'd just be like, oh, he's just some like man.
Like
which originally was, because in A New Hope, before he went back and like CG'd everything, Jabba was just a guy, and then he cut it out and then put it back and then CG'd him in as a slug man later. But yeah, that's a really cool fucking idea.
I really like the part where Luke's about to jump into the pit. I like the music and shit with that. That's dope.
That Rancor fight is fucking badass.
Yeah, that's dope. And then I think it kind of just jumps a little bit from there, though. Like
I think the whole the first act is great. The first act, Luke showing up at Jabba's palace, and he's just like, I'm gonna fuck everybody up. I'm a Jedi Master now. Hell yeah, I'm badass. And then when they're on the little skiffs with like Boba Fett and all that stuff, like all that stuff's fun. The second act, I think, is the weakest part of the film. That's where it kind of loses me a little bit.
Yeah, because it just kind of does the indoor shit. And I'm like, they do the speeders and
the speeder scene actually like doesn't look as bad as you would think it would. Like it still actually kind of holds up pretty okay.
Return to Jedi not super recently, but recently. It does hold up.
Yeah, it looks pretty decent.
And then they have to introduce the Ewok. Well, they don't have to, but they did. They introduced the Ewoks into this, and they make C-3PO a god, which I guess that's funny.
Like, all right, cool, but like, fuck,
we're gonna eat them.
Cut all this fucking Ewok shit out of the movie. It's too long.
When I first watched this, I thought that they were baby Chewbacca's,
because that's what they look like, but they don't.
As a little kid, I thought they were baby. I was like, oh my god, there's a lot of Chewbacca's. But then I realized Chewbacca wasn't talking to him, so I was like, why are they talking to each other?
Yeah,
I was a dumb little kid. Sorry.
No, that makes sense.
And then I think it picks up the third act. It picks up a lot because Luke leaves. Sure. Luke leaves, and then Lando runs the space fight, and then Han Solo and everybody else is doing the indoor shit, and it all makes sense on what's happening.
Yeah, I feel like. I mean, I don't like the second Death Star. That's a little. That's
a little stupid.
Like I get it. Kind of makes sense for the Emperor to have like an ego where he's just like, let's just fucking do it again and just not have a giant hole in it. Like, let's just do it again. That's kind of fun, and that kind of fits with like his character. But it's just like we're doing the same thing again. Like, really. I do really love all of the scenes with like Luke and Darth Vader, like they're talking to the Emperor, and oh man, it's so fucking good. It's so all that stuff, and it's like when Luke is like beating the shit out of Darth Vader, and he realizes like, oh fuck, if I kill him, I'm gonna be the Darth Vader. He like looks at his hand and he's like, "Oh, we both got robot hands." Like, fuck. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's so cool. That's such a cool like visual storytelling thing.
it's really good. I still love Ian McDermott in this because he's fucking over the top all
Yeah.
the time.
And it's weird. It's weird seeing like watching the theatrical versions because he wasn't in Empire originally. And so it's weird seeing like the two different, it's almost like two different characters.
Which I think that's a good thing to retcon with CG. That's fine.
I don't care about that.
That's fine. Just makes it a little better.
Yeah.
He's just so good. Like he's
great.
So good at being an evil person, and it's just great. The space fight scenes where it lacks a little bit in the third act. For me, I don't think it's as interesting as everything else that's going on, but
yeah, they're still fun.
It's Lando, so I mean,
hell yeah, Lando and Nia Nub blew up the second Death Star. Hell yeah, boy.
Hell yeah. But yeah, other than that, what do you think about the choreography at the very end? This is like one of the biggest fights of this trilogy is Darth Vader.
Well, I mean, I don't think there was much choreography in the whole trilogy. I think the way that like Luke holds his lightsaber and fights with it is very just like a dude with a sword who doesn't really know what he's doing with it, just kind of fucking like hitting it up against stuff. And I think that's kind of realistic and kind of cool because he wouldn't have had the training that like Obi-Wan would have had where there were Jedi around and all that stuff. He would just be like, I got this fucking thing and I'm just going to hit you with it.
He holds his own pretty well for Darth Vader, who I guess is super old, but he still is trained for a long time. Do you think Darth Vader was taking it easy on him? Just a little?
I think a little bit. I mean, there is a moment at the end when he fucking kills the Emperor where he's like, oh fuck, that's my son. Like, I need to do something. There's clearly something going on. He's emoting a little bit behind that fucking blank face.
That mask is scary though.
It's so fucking spooky.
Spooky. There's no eyes. It's just black. Nothing.
Yeah, but that's fucking really cool. I like that.
It's dope. Overall though, I think I give this a B. I give this a B.
That's fair. It's not great, but I'd say it's good. It's a good movie.
It's a good ending for this trilogy, I guess. Or for all the movies, I guess it was supposed to be the end.
And it should have just been the fucking end because it ends perfectly.
But now we got to talk about episode 7.
Star Wars episode 7. My fucking case is all messed up, but I don't care. Force Awakens.
This is not as bad as everybody says it is. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'd agree with that. I don't think this is a bad movie.
People shit on this movie, and I don't understand everything. I don't understand because it's not that bad. It really isn't.
It's not. I feel like I went back and rewatched it last night because I knew we were going to talk about Star Wars, and I will say I think the biggest problem holding this movie back is the fact that it is a Star Wars film. Like, there's so much. There was so much. I love how this movie looks. It looks cinematic as all hell. It has because it was shot on film. And so there's like film grain and it looks gorgeous. There's so many shots. There was like one shot of like Finn running through like all this rubble and shit. And I was like, that looks like that shot just looks incredible. And it kind of felt like it has the tone and the vibe of like the original trilogy. I just think a lot of the references hold this movie back. And it clearly is. Everyone's pointed out that it's pretty much just beat for beat A New Hope. And that's fine. I get why they did that. It kind of sucks that they did that, but I completely understand why they did it. But I think if you took all of that stuff out, this would be a really awesome like sci-fi adventure action movie.
It's very similar, but I think it's got enough different that it doesn't feel like A New Hope at the same time. Like the characters,
I agree with some of that.
The characters are so different compared to the character like Finn, Rey.
I mean, to a point.
Rey is not Luke Skywalker.
No, she's not. That's why Rey sucks.
Like she's her own thing and
doesn't have a character.
Finn is not Han Solo at all.
Finn was my favorite character up until Last Jedi. He was so interesting and well written in Force Awakens because I like the fact that he not only is a reformed stormtrooper, but at the same time he's kind of a bitch throughout the whole movie. Like every chance he gets, he's just like, I'm fucking leaving and I'm done. But then he wisens the fuck up and is like, no, I'm gonna stay and I'm gonna help fight for the resistance. And I'm like, that's a fucking character arc, and that's a cool fucking character to have in Star Wars.
What did you think about the new characters, these new actors?
I liked Finn. He was the best character that they had in this fucking movie. When he doesn't win every fight. He's kind of a dumbass, and he gets his ass at every moment. But at the same time, he has the biggest balls I've ever seen of any Star Wars character to take on a fucking Sith, knowing he was probably going to get his ass kicked. I'm like, that's fucking so cool. Ow, I just hit my foot. Rey kind of, especially now that we've seen her story continue, at first I was kind of like okay with it because I was like, okay, all right, they're setting her up for other stuff. But now, like, since The Last Jedi, it's just like she doesn't have a character. She doesn't have an arc. I don't know anything about Rey. Like, is she, like, who is she? Why is her name just Rey? What is she, like, fighting for? It doesn't really seem like she has any reason to be doing anything she's doing. She's just kind of here. She's just kind of doing stuff. And we know nothing about her. And that's hard for me to get behind a character that I know fucking nothing about.
We may learn more in 9. You never know.
We might, but as of right now, we know fucking nothing.
But I like her. I think she has potential to be dope. I really, if she is actually just nobody in this universe, it will take it out for me. Like, it's just.
I mean, she is. They've established that already.
It could very easily be retconned.
It could, and I think they will. Because
as Kylo Ren is a big fat liar, that could.
But I mean, at the same time, like, I'm fine with her being a nobody. Just
I think it ruins just a little bit.
They should have established that in the first film. But J.J. Abrams was clearly setting up she was going to be somebody. Because what the hell are those visions that she has? That was clearly alluding to something.
If they would have said that at the very beginning, it would have been fine. But now that you've set all this shit up, it's like, okay, I want the payoff to it. I want to know who she is.
Yeah. And there's moments in The Force Awakens where Kylo Ren clearly knows who the fuck Rey is.
Yeah.
When that dude comes up and he's like, oh, they escaped with a girl. And he's like, what? And he's just like, he's like, there's a girl. Like, what girl? I'm like, he clearly kind of knows a little bit about what's going on. He wouldn't have had that reaction for just some rando.
I don't know. I feel like if J.J. Abrams would have had full control of the whole trilogy, it would have been better.
I mean, I don't even think just that. I think if they just had a solid through line, they could have different directors and stuff. But if they just had a solid, like, this is how the first movie is, this is the second movie, this is the third movie, it would have been better. But they didn't. And that's confirmed because Abrams said that and Rian Johnson said that. That fucking really sucks.
And that's true because, I mean, Marvel continues stories very well with many different directors. So
yeah, they try to have some kind of through line throughout their movies.
Overall, though, episode 7, I want to give it a B too because I actually like it a lot more than a lot of people do. It's not that bad.
I enjoy it, and I enjoy hearing the fucking John Williams theme and seeing the circle wipes and everything. It reminds me of the old trilogy and stuff. It sucks that we can't see like Luke and Han on screen together anymore. Like, that sucks.
Yeah, how did you feel about the Han death scene?
The Han death scene, I think, I mean, it makes sense obviously because Harrison Ford hates Star Wars, and that was probably specifically stated in like underlined 15 times and like an italics on his contracts. Like, I need to fucking die because I'm not doing any more of these. And it is kind of a really good moment between him and Kylo, but it's just like, you know, we got to see Leia and Han reunite. It would have been so cool to have some kind of Luke and Han thing reunite because they're best buds. And
yeah,
you get nothing. Even in The Last Jedi, when they reveal to Luke that Han's dead, he has no fucking reaction to it. He's just like, whatever, fuck you.
That's one of the few things I hate about Last Jedi. We'll get into that later. But I wish I could have seen his reaction to it. And then I do agree. Seeing them together again when they're old would have been really good to see.
Even if it was just like, because I know Mark Hamill has talked about it, and he was like, oh, it would have been so cool if like they got captured like right before they saw like Han die, if like Rey and Finn got captured by like a stormtrooper, and then he rips the mask off and it's Luke. And I'm like, that's a little fun, and that's a little like Star Warsy, and that would have been cool. And then at least Luke could see his friend like have some kind of connection in that moment, but nothing.
I think that would have been a little weird though. See,
it's strange, but at least it would have been a little bit more emotional because you get to watch Luke react to his friend dying.
It's true. I think Harrison Ford in this movie is great, to be honest. He's really good in this movie.
I think he surprisingly gives a fuck, which he doesn't in most films.
He actually tries, and he actually looks like he's having fun in this movie. So.
Yeah, which is good. I'm glad.
Is there anything else you want to say about this? Oh, what about Maz Kanata? What do you feel about Maz?
She's such a dumb character. Why is she in this fucking movie?
She's barely in 8, so it is.
And she's like, it's so funny rewatching it. It was like Han Solo. He's like, how did you fucking get Luke Skywalker's lightsaber? She's like, that's a story for another time. And it's just like, all right, fuck you. You're never gonna explain this ever.
I really hope that they explain something with those visions, though.
I hope they do too, because those visions are really specific to like how come Luke, because Luke didn't have any fucking visions when he touched the lightsaber. It's not just like a force thing. So it's like clearly something is there.
They had all 3 of the big 3 from the original speak to her.
Yeah,
not really. They had
Obi-Wan, Yoda.
McGregor said a few lines for Obi-Wan. You
Yeah.
hear Yoda's laugh and you hear Darth Vader's breathing. Like,
yeah. So like that can't just be like, oh, we're just gonna fucking put some shit in here. That has to be something.
Exactly. So I don't know. I don't get it.
We'll have to wait and see when 9 comes out. If they even care to follow that shit up, they probably won't. They'll probably just ignore it and be like, whatever.
Yeah. But let's get to the
next one
movie.
The Last Jedi. I don't have this one either because fuck this movie.
I should have got it.
Should have.
This is where me and you disagree on Star Wars.
Fuck everything about this film. This movie sucks.
Great, fuck you.
This movie sucks, and I've hated it ever since I saw it.
It's good. I don't care. There's
not. I've explained to you why this movie doesn't make any fucking sense.
But I still like it. I hate the casino scene. Fuck everything about that scene.
It's bad. That's a fucking awful scene. That entire, like, not even just like the racing and like the now they're free. The entire
I hate the whole thing. I don't like the whole thing. If I could remake this movie, I would just cut that out because it's pointless. Nothing happens on that place that.
Well, that whole subplot with Finn and Rose is fucking pointless because they end up captured anyway. They don't accomplish anything.
Exactly. So that's why you could just cut out the casino scene. Rey and Luke's relationship is actually interesting. I like it.
I mean, I guess I don't understand why Luke is such a grumpy asshole. This whole thing is his fucking fault.
Because he pulled a Jedi move and went into hiding after he screwed up Yoda.
He's an asshole, though.
Yoda did it. Kenobi did it. Like
an asshole. Obi-Wan wasn't an asshole. I'm not talking about like him being retired. That makes sense. Why is he an asshole?
Because he's a grumpy old man.
Why?
You're gonna be a grumpy old man.
Why? But why? Because Luke was never a grumpy asshole. Luke was the most optimistic character in the whole franchise.
What does he do that is an asshole to you?
The whole movie, when she gives him the lightsaber, he's just like, "Fuck you." When Rey is like, "Yo, can you train me so I can fucking go fight Kylo Ren?" He's like, "Fuck you." Like the whole movie, he's fuck.
He explains why he doesn't want to, because he made Kylo Ren and he made the Knights of Ren.
Okay, then why doesn't he fucking take responsibility and go fight this motherfucker himself?
Because that's his nephew.
Okay, well maybe if he didn't fucking stand over him like a creep and ignite his lightsaber, he wouldn't have fucking turned bad. Everything that happens in this trilogy is his fucking fault.
That doesn't break from his character. He almost killed Darth Vader. No, it doesn't.
No, that's different.
Did he do it? No, he didn't fucking do it.
No, because he went to Darth Vader without the intent to fight. He only almost killed Darth Vader when they started fighting, and he was pissed off and angry, and then he didn't even kill him. Then it wasn't like he showed up and was like, "Yo, motherfucker, like let's fight." He showed up. He surrendered himself to Darth Vader. He went to the Death Star, saying, "There's good in him. I can feel it." And he went there with the intent to bring him back to the good side. He didn't go like, "Oh, fuck Darth Vader, fuck him." But he does that with his sister's son. He's just like, "Fuck this guy," and he stands over him.
He said it was.
If you ignite your lightsaber, you are intending to use it. He wouldn't just ignite it and turn it off and lay it back down. If I'm standing over somebody with a gun and I load it and I cock it, I'm intending to use it. I'm not just going to put it down after I do all that.
It was a split-second decision, and he immediately regretted it.
That's fucking dumb. Luke would not have made that mistake.
It does not break his character.
It really does.
You're pulling a Superman moment here where you're saying Luke is good. He's the most perfect character and he doesn't make mistakes.
No, I'm not saying he doesn't make mistakes. I'm just saying that's not a mistake Luke would make logically.
He didn't make a mistake. He literally just
made that mistake at all. Because how does someone who goes to the Death Star and to bring back the second most evil man in the universe to the good side simply because that's his own flesh and blood. That's his dad. And he says there's good in him. I can feel it. How does he then go, oh, fuck this little ignorant kid. I feel a little dark side tendencies in him. So I'm just going to fucking kill him. Luke showed dark side tendencies in Return of the Jedi.
I bet you he saw some bad shit.
Well, maybe, how about instead of standing over him like a goddamn creep, he helps him. He's like, yo, Kylo, I see some shit. Like, let's talk about this a little bit.
I bet you that's probably what he was going to do. And then Kylo woke up and saw his lightsaber and was like, fuck.
Yeah, so Luke is responsible for this entire fucking trilogy. And instead of...
He's a grumpy old man.
Why is he a grump? He should be like sad and depressed about the whole thing. He shouldn't be like, oh, fuck everything. He's like a sarcastic asshole.
Have you not heard of the 7 stages of grieving or whatever?
He's had 20 years to grieve.
It's not been 20 years.
It happened a while ago. It wasn't like this. This wasn't a new thing that just happened. He's had some time to like grieve over it. It's been what?
2 years or something.
2 years. Get the fuck over it. It's been 2 years. He should be like sad and depressed. That would have made so much more sense if he was sad and depressed.
He probably was at the beginning, and now he's angry and shit. It's been 2 years. It's not sad anymore.
He would have got over it at that point.
Whatever.
He'd have been like, this is all my like, and that actually would have made sense for him, like saying like, fuck the Jedi. I'm not about that anymore. If he was sad and depressed about the whole thing, him just being a sarcastic fuck is just like, whatever. And he's like a quippy like Tony Stark asshole. And I'm like, this is weird.
It fits his character.
Even Mark Hamill agrees that doesn't make any sense for Luke to do.
Mark Hamill's also a nut job. So
he's not. He's a perfectly sane human being.
He's a nut job. What do you think? Besides that, what do you think also derails this movie for you?
How come Finn is able to beat Captain Phasma?
That's a good question that I can't answer because it doesn't make sense. But
how come instead of introducing a brand new character, how about you use the already introduced brand new characters, Poe and Finn, and have them go on this weird side adventure to go find this hacker man instead of having Poe have this other weird subplot that ultimately goes nowhere and doesn't make any fucking sense.
Rose sucks. That's agreeable.
Exactly. It should have been build out their fucking relationship a little bit. They're supposed to be like best buds. Fucking show that.
But I also hate the end where Finn was going to sacrifice himself and Rose
that's fucking retarded.
Dumb. But the end fight with Ghost Luke, I think that's dope, to be honest.
I like the fight. I don't like how Luke dies. It doesn't make any sense for Luke to die. That death wasn't earned. They did not earn that.
I understand why he died, but I understand why you chose to make him die. Like, why did you write him to die? He could have easily been an episode 9.
Shock value. They only did it so people go, whoa, Luke's dead. There was no rhyme or reason to have him die. He could have lived.
Made it to where he was episode 9. Who knows? They could retcon and make him still alive. Who knows?
I mean, there was a Red Letter Media made like a prediction video for episode 9, and they were like, he might come back like a Gandalf type thing. And just like come back as like Luke the White or whatever. Like he's used his force powers to like come back and he's like refreshed and everything. I wouldn't put it past him to try and do something like that because he is in the movie.
I can totally see that his body is somewhere else and he force projected to the island and then force projected from the island to like.
Yes, that would be really dumb.
The only thing that breaks that for me is doesn't his robe fall down?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that breaks that for me. But.
Yeah. Whatever. It doesn't matter anymore.
Retconning that and that being that. But.
Yeah. Also, Finn has the exact same arc from Force Awakens. The exact same
He was in
arc.
a coma.
No, but he wakes up from the coma and then he's just like, yo, peace out. And I'm like, no, we established at the end of Force Awakens, you're all in. You had your peace out moment in Force Awakens. And then you had the moment where you're like, no, I'm going to stay and fight. You then can't just be like, no, fuck all this stuff. I'm leaving again. Like, no, him sacrificing himself or trying to sacrifice himself, that's a cool thing for that character to do. And I honestly think Finn probably should have sacrificed himself because that is ultimately where his arc should have led. But no, fuck all this shit. Kylo Ren went from an interesting character that we had never seen before in Star Wars to a fucking blathering idiot who was in Last Jedi. He's just screaming a fucking office rocker at every fucking point. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I still don't think this movie's bad.
It's bad. And I just explained to you why it was bad.
It's not bad.
Why was General Holdo in this fucking movie?
He's okay. He's fine.
Well, Holdo's the female.
Who's General Oh, the pink hair.
The purple hair lady.
I was thinking General Hux.
No, Hux is he's so bad in this movie.
She's got some stupid things that she does.
No, but I mean, like, her whole thing, it's like, you're not going to tell Poe Dameron your plan. You caused a mutiny.
I understand why she didn't. Because Poe Dameron's a big blabbering idiot.
But she doesn't trust him because she's like, oh, he could be a spy or whatever. They have no right to trust you either, purple hair lady.
I also didn't like... I forgot. I didn't like the Leia part where she goes out into space and then becomes...
the Superman fly thing. Yeah, that's dumb. She should have died.
Whatever. But like, there's just so many like little things wrong. Overall, I like it.
Everything I said was a big thing. There were character moments that completely fucking ruin the characters.
You can't ruin a character that was introduced in this movie.
You can. Because they do.
That's not how it works.
General Holdo, she does fucking nothing. She's, oh, you're a spy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then she kills herself. And I'm like, okay, why wasn't that Leia? Why wasn't that Leia's whole thing where she's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself to save the rebellion or whatever? That actually then would have mattered. But no, we have to introduce a brand new character instead of playing with the already introduced brand new characters that we introduced in the last film. We're going to introduce even more, and we're just going to kill them. And then when they go to the Canto Bight, and Maz Kanata's like, oh, you got to find the only guy in the galaxy that can fucking hack all this shit. And then they don't find that guy. They find somebody else who can also hack that shit, who wasn't the guy that they were looking for. And I'm like, okay. So he's not the only person that can hack this shit. Some weird guy with a stutter who's just chilling in prison can hack all this shit. And I'm like, all right. Like,
but I mean, he turned out to be not the hacker, so...
He wasn't the hacker they were looking for, but he was still able to hack into what they were doing.
And with the Empire.
No, he hacked into what they were trying to hack. He wasn't working with the Empire until they like made a deal with him. They were like, hey, give them up and we'll give you like whatever. And that's where he left. He wasn't always working with them. He was just like a scummy fucking asshole, man.
What did you think about the light speed collision thing? That was dope.
At the end with Holdo, like going to the thing.
Yeah,
it looks cool. Visually, it was like impressive and it looked really cool seeing it on the big screen and everything. But it's like that kind of breaks a lot of the logic in this universe because it's just like because you could do that at any point. Why haven't they done that before?
It's a suicide mission.
Put a fucking droid in the seat.
It's a suicide. Those droids have hearts, man.
Okay, the mouse droids have souls.
Probably.
Get a fucking little mouse droid. People in the Star Wars universe don't care about these fucking droids. The droids are slaves. They're slaves in these universes. Don't even put a droid. Put a fucking string and a ball and just like have something like pull the string and lead it into the thing. Like these people are smart. They can figure out a way to do it.
I thought it was a cool scene. Whatever.
It's a cool looking scene and it's fucking visually impressive, but it's just it just breaks a lot of the fucking logic of the universe.
I give this movie like a C+. That's what I want to give.
That's fucking way too much.
What would you give it if you had to give it?
If I had to give it, I would give it an F.
You give it an F? It's that bad?
Storytelling. Who the fuck was Snoke?
Solo level bad?
Yes. Who the fuck was Snoke? We learned nothing about him.
He's coming back. You know.
Why did Kylo smash his fucking dumb helmet that completely goes against everything about his character that was established in the last film?
Do you think Rian Johnson made this movie without watching the previous film?
I think what Rian Johnson did was like, I don't like Star Wars. I'm going to make Star Wars cool. And I'm going to do what I think should happen in a Star Wars movie. And I'm like, fuck you. Because you did make Star Wars cool. You made it weird and confusing. It almost felt like, you know how the Russo brothers, when they talked about making Winter Soldier, they were like, we grew up and we didn't really like Captain America. So we wanted to kind of make him interesting for like to us, and that's why the Winter Soldier works and Civil War works, because they made him they made him to a point where they like that character now. I feel like Rian Johnson kind of tried to do that, but he kind of was just like a sarcastic asshole as he was doing that, because there's a lot of stuff in here where it kind of feels like he did it just to say fuck you to everyone. Like the whole Snoke thing where he just ices Snoke halfway. He's just like, fuck y'all. Snoke is dumb. Let's just get rid of him.
He's for sure coming back. I know he is. There's no way.
I don't think he will. I think they're just going to abandon.
They could do a Plagueis thing. He's Plagueis
thing. It would be cool if he was Plagueis. I honestly don't think he's coming back. I think the Emperor is going to be like the main focus of episode 9 or whatever.
I think the Emperor is like a hologram type thing.
He probably will be, but they're marketing him as like he's going to be a big deal.
Really cool if he was like a ghost thing haunting the Death Star. That'd be kind of dope.
That'd be really cool. I mean, it was in Battlefront 2, which is canon. That story showed that like he did kind of cheat death a little bit and came back. Like his consciousness is like in a robot or something. So it's like he still is technically around.
I think it'd be really cool if he was like a Force ghost type thing, but he was like trapped to the Death Star or something like that.
That could be neat. That could be fun.
That'd be a good story.
He probably will have a small part though.
He'll have a part for sure. But I think Snoke will be the main villain still, and he will be Plagueis.
I don't think Snoke. I have a feeling they're gonna redeem Kylo Ren, just like they fucking did, because Force Awakens was A New Hope. Last Jedi was Empire Strikes Back. There was a lot of Empire Strikes Back in The Last Jedi. And so I have a feeling that Rise of Skywalker is going to be Return of the Jedi. And they're going to redeem Kylo Ren at the end, which doesn't make any sense because he killed Han Solo when he almost killed Leia. And we're going to see more little Ewok fucking things running around doing nothing. And like, it's just going to be the same fucking thing.
I don't know, man. We'll see how Rise of Skywalker is, which I think is a dumb title, by the way.
It is very dumb.
Like when I saw that title on the trailer, I was like, "Oh,
that's an awful fucking title."
Like I don't even know what it means, but I guess we'll find out.
They're trying to do a thing, I think, where it's like Skywalker is just going to be like a general term for like Jedi now. You're a Skywalker and you're not a Jedi now. I think that's kind of what they're leading towards, which I think is dumb.
It's kind of odd
because there are no more living Skywalkers.
Unless Rey is one somehow.
Unless Rey just happens to be one, even though
he's not a Skywalker, but he's partly Skywalker.
He's a Solo though.
He's got the Skywalker gene.
And but I hope he fucking dies. So then at the end of that movie, there won't be any Skywalkers left.
I forgot to ask, how did you feel about Adam Driver as Kylo Ren?
Adam Driver, again, in Force Awakens, he was actually really interesting. And I like Adam Driver has this really weird way of talking. He has this weird voice and he has this like kind of a speech impediment a little bit when he talks. He just has this weird way of speaking in everything he's in. I don't know why. But it worked with Kylo Ren a little bit because Kylo Ren's character in The Force Awakens was he kind of knows he's not Darth Vader. There's even that line where Rey's like, "You're afraid that you're not going to be as good as Darth Vader," and then he storms out of the room like a little child. I'm like, that's the whole point. He's trying to be something he's not. And there's even like this cool character moment where like whenever he has the helmet on, he's like calm and collected and like he's pretending to be Darth Vader. And then whenever he has his mask off, he's a fucking little kid who's just like has no idea what the fuck he's doing and he's scared. And you can tell in his emotion that he's scared. And Adam Driver does a really good job with it. And then in The Last Jedi, he's just screaming his fucking ass off the whole movie. "Blow that piece of junk out of the sky!" And I'm like, tone it down like 8 notches.
I want every gun to fire upon that.
Like, what made Darth Vader cool was that he never like he raised his voice once in one scene in A New Hope when he came through and he was like, "Find all the rebels, I want them alive," and then he just leaves. That was it. The rest of the time we see him, he's always just calm and he's cool and he's collected. That's what makes him fucking scary. And that's kind of what made Kylo Ren an interesting character, was because he wasn't that, but he was trying to be that. And that's something we haven't really seen in Star Wars. And I thought that was interesting. And then they just completely fucking got rid of that in Last Jedi.
Are you excited for 9 at all?
I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I'm going to go into 9 the way I go into every movie. Like, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, fuck The Last Jedi. This movie's gonna fucking suck." I'm gonna go in being like, I hope this movie's great. I hope this trilogy doesn't end in a colossal fuck up. that is The Last Jedi, because that movie stands out really bad on the rest of this trilogy. And I hope it's fun. All I want from a fucking Star Wars movie is fun characters, fun space adventure films that aren't complicated, that have great music and look visually impressive. And that's what Force Awakens was. You know, it's not great, but it captures what Star Wars is all about. Last Jedi didn't really do that. Last Jedi was like, fuck everything that Star Wars is about. So I mean, I'll go into it with an open mind. It just looks like from the trailers and stuff, they're just like, oh, we're gonna reforge Kylo Ren's helmet. We're gonna reforge the fucking Anakin's lightsaber. We're gonna redo this. We're gonna redo this. But it just seems like a bunch of retconning from the last film, which is not exciting at all.
We'll have to wait and see. It comes out in December.
Yeah, same day as Cats.
I wonder which one we're gonna go see.
Well, I'm gonna see Cats.
Fuck you.
We're both gonna see Star Wars, but I'm gonna see Cats the next day.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Cats.
I want to see Cats because I want to know what the fuck this movie is.
I don't want to see it. I'll watch it when it comes out on Redbox.
You don't have to see. I'll see it for you.
Good, because I'm not fucking watching that.
Buy 2 tickets and then just go by myself.
I'm not watching that piece of shit. Nope.
What if it's like amazing? What if I come out and I'm like, yo, this is the best movie I've ever seen. This is the best movie of the year.
I'm still gonna wait till it comes out on Redbox so I can pay $1 for it instead of $11.
Idris Elba's in it. He's a cool cat man.
Idris Elba's in a lot of shit though.
He is.
He needs to be in better movies.
He really does. He hasn't really done like an awesome movie in a long time.
But overall today, we had some news. We talked about Hobbs and Shaw, which was a good movie. Not a good movie.
Good movies, and we talked about some bad movies.
Yeah, we talked about Hobbs and Shaw, which is not a good movie, but recommended it, and we talked about Star Wars. And if you want to hear about our Star Wars rants, you can listen to all of those.
Hell yeah, I'll probably put timestamps at the bottom. I'll try. I always forget to do those because we have so much shit we talk about.
Just put news and then do
news,
Hobbs and Shaw.
Star Wars, Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll probably just do that. This has been episode 8, right? Episode 8?
I think so.
Of the Real Duo podcast, aka the Keanu Cast, aka the most mediocre podcast on the internet, aka the only mediocre podcast on the internet. I'm slipping, aka the Real Foodie podcast, aka the Decapitation Show, aka the fucking whatever the hell else I said in this episode.
We talked about politics. Didn't we say politics?
The political show, aka, and then I said something else. I don't fucking remember. I'm losing my mind.
You're adding too many AKs.
Jesus Christ. This has become a really bad joke. It's got out of hand.
You have to restart soon. You have to do one for every month. How about that? So you can do like...
I'm going to do it whenever we mention one.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to rewatch this episode and write it down what it is because I don't fucking remember.
It's politics and something else. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what we talked. I don't remember. That was 2 hours ago. I don't remember.
I don't remember. That's it.